How
Or
about a
would you
fucking
respond to it?
apology? Wait a second.
I
No,
would
You're not gonna.
never apologize to you for
Hold on.
anything. Explain to me. Can you explain to me why at the end of that conversation you asked Hutch, "You know that you're my boy, right?" And Hutch couldn't even give you an absolute yes or no to that. Why do you think he started on that?
I think I hurt his feelings.
Yeah, but it's also
That not
just
everyone
you
is
pushing and
able
pushing. It's you
to.
pushing and pushing, and all of your chat is the most vitriolic, by your own words, destructively criticizing.
Well,
You
I'm
want
not
me to-
just making
You
casual
want me to ban
conversation
people?
when I bring that up,
So
though.
you want me to ban people who do what? Who
It's
are?
not that he wants you to ban
No,
people. It's that
wait,
he
wait.
wants you
Oh
to
my-
want to do something.
You want me to
about it.
want to ban people who do what? Because I believe Hutch, because I'm good faith, and because I trust Hutch.
No, you're
When
being
Hutch-
bad faith.
Wait,
You're
I wanna
using debate
explain.
tactics right now. Well, no, I don't want you to explain.
We
And
wanted
then
an
you
answer.
pushed it for 30 minutes.
No. Why do you exaggerate like that? Do you think anyone believes it?
I'm not. It was so awkward that a guest was 6 words into answering a question. You started screaming, saying, "You disagree with Hutch then, right?" Whoa, hey, what's up, buddy?
Not much, dude. Just another day in America.
Another day in America. Firstly, I'm just curious, what type of communist do you think that Aaron is?
I'm not sure. Doesn't matter for Mel versus communist. That should be a
doesn't
particular
matter?
type. Yeah.
Well, do you know what the most common type of communist is?
No.
What if 99% were Marxist-Leninists?
What if? I don't know. What's your point?
Well, if somebody said I'm a communist and 99% were MLs, and they didn't clarify another type of communism, wouldn't you assume that they're just an ML?
Not if they deny it.
Has she denied? She said, "I'm not a Marxist-Leninist"?
Yes.
So if somebody denies having a particular ideology, is that enough? If Nick Fuentes says, "I'm not a neo-Nazi," does that mean they're not a neo-Nazi?
Unless
How
I
are
have
you
a basis to.
ascertaining somebody's...
Unless I have a
Okay,
basis
what
to
is the
mistrust
basis?
them.
How are you ascertaining what their political ideology is?
Unless I have a basis to mistrust them, if they show perspectives that are incompatible or are sort of credibly indicative of the ideology, perhaps I would doubt them. But if there's no reason to doubt, I just trust.
Do you think that Aaron believes that the capital class will ever willingly give up their power or capital?
The Convoy believe that. There could be democratic ways to achieve it. I think it's a little bit.
Why do we bring up a
fanciful.
Convoy? Hold on, let me repeat that question. I don't think you heard me.
I answered it.
Does Aaron believe that capital will willingly part with their power, with their wealth, with their capital?
I'm not sure.
Then how can you know if she's an ML or not?
Because I told you, just because I don't know the specific answer to that question, I assume people are telling me the truth unless I have a reason to believe otherwise, and unless there's like an overriding reason to doubt their identification. That unreasonable? Yes or no?
Are people generally forthcoming with radical or extreme ideologies, or are they generally a bit more kind of like concealing of them?
I think Erin is incredibly forthcoming. In fact, that's why she says she called herself a communist as opposed to a socialist.
When she called herself a communist as opposed to a socialist, what did she say alongside that? Didn't she mention that she thinks more people would be socialists, but why would they be shy about that?
Presumably because they think that the connotation of the term communism has baggage that more or less represents the reason, despite very small differences in ideology. And that's more evidence, I think, that she's not a Marxist-Leninist, because she would encompass socialist ideologies, which make no sense Marxist-Leninist, under her term communist.
Do you think there's a greater chance that when she says that people might be not forthcoming about that, it's because she knows that it's a more radical or extremist ideology, because it almost always implies you are an ML, a tanky?
No.
Do you know a single other person in this space or on the internet that simply identifies as a communist with no other qualifiers?
No.
Okay. Because typically when people are flavors of like a Maoist or whatever, or a anarcho-communist, they usually say that. Nobody just says communist.
I'm not sure that no one says that.
Okay. I'm not aware of anybody, and you clearly aren't aware of anybody. I do believe that she thinks the capital will not willingly... I never said it doesn't mean that they don't exist, just that inductively, we can probably say that when somebody calls themselves a communist with no other qualifiers, generally speaking, they're an ML, unless we have really good reasons to believe otherwise, in virtue of the fact that most people call themselves communists are Marxist-Leninists. It's generally what they mean, especially when her reason for not interacting with any of these people online, the fact that you can't name a single person who calls himself a communist who is not an ML or who just calls himself a communist.
It sounds like
The
you're
fact
making
that
a
Aaron has said in the
generalization
past
based
she believes that
on who you
capital.
know
It's
and
not
who you
really.
meet
Aaron
as
doesn't
those
believe.
representative.
Well, you don't even know Aaron's political beliefs, so I don't even know why you would bother to try to speak to them, right?
Well, I'm just saying
You say yourself, you don't know if Aaron thinks that
your ideas about what evidence is required to show the 99% of communists are Marxist-Leninists doesn't really speak to me. It's like whoever you've talked to is the representative sample, I guess.
So I think if somebody doesn't think that the capital class will give up their capital and that a violent overthrow of them is necessary, these are things that Aaron believes in. You can ask her about this if you want. I'm pretty sure she'll say both of those things. Basically, that means you're a Marxist-Leninist. You think there has to be some kind of violent overthrow of the capital class. Their wealth has to be
Would you
expropriated,
consider a
redistributed.
democratic overthrow of capital interests to be violent?
It could be. It depends on what you mean by overthrow there.
Well, I think that there could be people who advocate for the relinquishment of private property or capital via democratic means. I don't think that that's necessarily.
Yeah, but if the people aren't willing to give it up, then at some point you kind of have to, right, kill them or arrest them or take their stuff by force.
That would just, by definition, encompass any communist or socialist who didn't believe in 100% voluntary abolishment of private property. I don't think that that's how we use the term Marxist-Leninist to encompass even people who implement their solutions democratically through 80% approval.
How could you? What do you think they mean when they say that the police are the protectors of capital?
I think that they mean that the state is essential to protecting the interest of capital force.
Yeah, so the idea is that the capital class literally employs the police through the form of a state to protect their capital, their private property. You think that
if that's what you mean by violent overthrow?
So do you think that Aaron thinks that you could simply vote away the capital class?
I think that he might. I think that he would.
I think
believe
before
in
you venture a
democratic
strong
overthrow.
opinion on what her beliefs are, you should probably find out the answer to that topic because it's
but
a pretty important topic.
You're making the case that she's a Marxist-Leninist, not a basis to believe that.
That's fine, but that's because I've had a ton of conversations with her about this. The definition for communism that you're giving is literally like the wiki. Nobody believes this. When somebody says I'm a communist, they don't mean they believe in a stateless, moneyless society. Nobody actually says that or believes that. It's not even like a real thing. This is like kibbutzes in Israel. It's not a thing that people talk about.
So
right, you've never in your life heard somebody say I'm a communist and I want to abolish the state and all paper money and go live on communes. Nobody really says that. That's not what communism means.
I'll ask the question. Have you heard people describe communism as notion of a stateless, classless system? Have you heard that before?
People who aren't communist, yes.
Have you heard?
But nobody who is a communist describes it that way.
All right, so it is a common thing. It's a common meaning of the term communist, correct?
No.
Virtue of what is it not common?
Because nobody who is a communist describes themselves that way.
So the people within the group define what the group is in terms of our usage of terms?
Yeah, it's called the descriptive use of language. Welcome to politics. The people who are in the group define what the term is. Correct.
So Aaron defines what
that. Do you think that?
I do disagree with that.
Do you think that if everybody okay, so you think that
I take use to be meaning.
Everybody defines themselves. Well, use is meaning, but use of a group is typically right. If they all describe themselves as believing in a vanguard party and everything else, it would be kind of weird for people outside to say like,
Aaron
this is what communism.
If that's your view, on your view, Aaron is not. She defines herself as not a Marxist-Leninist.
Well, she says she doesn't have the label, but you don't know any of her political beliefs.
I know that she doesn't advocate for a vanguard state. I know that she doesn't advocate for a violent overthrow of a republic.
Yeah, nobody does, but it's when you ask them questions about would the capital class ever willingly part with their capital, they'll say no. They'll say, would you be able to vote it away? They'll say no. Is it going to require some level of violent expropriation? They'll say probably yes. They'll say, what do you do morally if the capital class defends themselves with violence? You say, well, you have to be violent and take it over. This is the vanguard. This is the creation of the vanguard party.
Pisco, you got to end the Twitch stream.
Just how neo-Nazis won't say, like, yeah, I want to kill all the Jews or I want to get rid of all the minorities. Nobody usually comes out and says that openly.
Okay, we were talking about MLs.
So when people look at your community and they see that it might be infested, like half of it with a certain type of chatter, why is your response, should I ban X?
Because I think the observation that the chat infested, as you put it, is sort of suggesting a normative, or say like implication that I'm doing something wrong. So I'm asking for
if you came into a
response
liberal
on what I
streamer's
should
chat,
do.
sure. If you came into a liberal streamer's chat and 50% of that chat was hardcore MAGA, what would your assumption be about the streamer? Also, you should lower your noise gate, apparently. Some people are saying your mic is cutting out a lot. I don't know if that's an easy or not easy thing to do. Just people are saying it in chat.
Oh, shit. Is that any better? Testing 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yep.
I think if there's a community, a lib community with a bunch of MAGA people in the audience, I think it probably either suggests that the liberal streamer interacts a lot with MAGA, or potentially that there's something that the MAGA audience finds useful about the content, or they like the content, perhaps.
Okay, so then if somebody sees that of all the Live and Learn guys, your chat seems to uniquely draw people that are hardcore shitting on other members of the show, why do you think that is?
I think people who shit on Hutch and other members of the show come to my channel because they agree more with me, disagree with them, and the people who agree more with them shit on me on their channels.
So, do you think
do
you
agree with that?
Hutch's chat?
Yeah, they shit on me a lot.
No, I don't. But we'll get to that. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think that the people in Hutch's channel, do you think that they shit on you in the same way that your audience shits on Hutch?
From what I've seen, it looks very similar.
So, is your
so I'll describe it if you don't mind, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. Ascriptions of bad faith, saying he doesn't know what he's talking about, saying that he's grifting, saying that he's stupid, saying that he has some sort of negative design.
Is that because of your political disagreements with Hutch, or is that after you go in and you and Hutch have like a huge argument?
I think that is when he and I are interacting and disagreeing.
Is it when you guys are just disagreeing, or is it when you're going in super hard?
No, I think it's I guess I'm not sure. Are you suggesting that Hutch's chat is only mean to me if and when we disagree? That's not true. If that's your implication.
That is my I'm okay. Not mean. You keep backing off. I know you're trying to play the game, right? I'm not talking about simply disagreeing or being mean. Like I'm talking about being like pretty vitriolic, like very toxic. Hutch's chat will do it. You tried to do this trick earlier where you showed the stream where you guys had a debate and you looked at the comments. You're like, these comments are very mean to me. I was like, well, of course you were being a massive fucking asshole towards Hutch. It makes sense that the comments would be mean to you.
I wasn't being an asshole.
But why are the comments in your chat always so unbelievably vitriolic towards?
Well, let's just deal with the first claim. That it's me being an asshole to Hutch. I don't know why you think that. Hutch reached out to me to have a conversation. I let him drive the conversation. I gave him honest.
Do you think either of those two things prevent you from being an asshole?
I don't know how I was being an asshole. You're gonna have to.
Sure. So when somebody says, so we can go with that one super easiest comparison in the world. When somebody says, would you rather vote for Newsom or JD Vance? If you're a reasonable person who's a liberal, that should be an easy question to answer, right?
That's right.
Okay. If somebody says Hasan versus JD Vance, if Hutch's issue is with the illiberalism, why would you pretend that that question is of the same quality of question as Newsom versus JD Vance?
So that wasn't the question that I was calling him out for not answering directly.
Well, sure, it was the Epstein versus Hasan, yeah. But when he said he'd vote for Epstein over JD Vance, why do you think he said Epstein?
Because it was an example of a person whose moral character is insanely horrible, to show how committed he is to the principle of harm reduction, unlike these tankies who won't stomach a candidate that isn't like perfect. I will stomach highly, highly imperfect candidates, including someone like Epstein, including segregationists, for the purpose of harm reduction.
Do you think that Hutch would have had the same answer if Epstein was a Nazi?
No.
Do you think he would have the same answer if Epstein was a communist?
No.
Okay, so then you understand that point. So then why would you have such a freak out response when you can't quickly and easily answer Epstein versus Hasan when Hasan is a self-admitted whatever, I don't know how you have him categorized, communist, Marxist, Leninist, whatever. Why would you imagine he would have a quick response there if you understand that the point of the Epstein comment was that Epstein is probably broadly liberal. He has a deplorable moral character, but you would go with the deplorable moral character who's a liberal over the guy who's illiberal, and then act like it's a huge own, and then scream at him for 30 minutes when you put two illiberal people, or when you put Hasan against Epstein or whatever, and then he's trying to get more information about, well, what are Epstein's politics or whatever, because you're just looking for an own in that circumstance.
That's not what's going on there. And obviously your timing is off in the 30 minutes, but the reason is because he didn't ask for Epstein's policies when he was talking about Vance. And so it wasn't important to him.
But do you see how you knew exactly what he was saying? Because you're not autistic, but you know exactly what the point is of bringing up Epstein. It was to show somebody of a severe moral decay who would still ostensibly defend the liberal world order. Yeah.
He had that assumption for Vance when the hypothetical that he pushed, by the way, he pushed this hypothetical on IRI before this exchange. I hope you don't think that that was bad faith or whatever. But yeah, he didn't have the same kind of introspection on Epstein's political ideology when he did the Vance comparison, and he did for Hasan. And so that, I think, informs something. I mean, something must inform that. Why is it so easy?
What do you think?
Without looking into Epstein?
What do you think informs that?
I'm not sure, because he still doesn't give an answer. He's currently, I imagine he's probably just,
because it probably feels a little bit like a clip farm. The answer's not very relevant here. I would imagine if you pose the question to Hutch and say, let's assume that Epstein is a strong liberal who also likes to rape kids, would you vote for him over Hasan Piker, who is a strong illiberal and will do everything he can to destroy the current liberal system? I think you would say, well, I would probably go with Epstein, same way I went with Epstein over J.D. Vance, right? Do you think you imagine he would answer that way?
I think that, I'm not sure, because he hasn't said what his answer is. He said at the end, and so if I'm being good faith, he said,
"Yes, you can't
no, because
extrapolate.
wait.
You can't go from any other part of the conversation. It's impossible for you to make to guess what the answer to that would be.
Because
I possibly guess.
Because I believe Hutch, because I'm good faith, and because I trust Hutch.
No, you're being bad faith. You're using debate tactics right now. Well, no, I don't want you to explain, because you're going to say, well, because he said these words to me when I tried to tease it out in debate in an ultra high stakes environment where you're jumping down his throat on every single thing. It doesn't make you magically good faith to pretend that him stumbling through that conversation, I know the follow-up, but like to pretend that his inability to give you a resolute answer when you guys are in a hardcore 3-hour meta convo back and forth, and you're like, well, now I have absolutely no idea what he thinks, but you were able to perfectly illustrate to me why he chose, without thinking about it, Epstein over J.D. Vance. All of that understanding disappears. So what do you think that he's making decisions based on what he assumes the moral character is of both people then? And that's why he wanted more information on Epstein and Hasan? Or what?
The reason I give the answer, I don't know, is because that's the answer Hutch gave at the end of the follow-up, where I said, I still don't know where your position is. And he said, I'm not sure. And so for me to ascribe a position to him or a reasoning, I think would be bad faith, because I'd be saying, and I think that's what you're doing, is like, I don't trust Hutch when he says I don't know. Well, I trust Hutch. He said, I don't know.
I trust Hutch, but this is after you've like spun him around in all these crazy, irrelevant directions of like, well, what if you got a person in office who could enact their entire agenda? Well, what if they came in and they couldn't enact their entire agenda? Well, what if the guardrails held? What if the guardrails didn't hold? By the end of that conversation, I don't know. Who knows? If you're asking about, we had a similar argument a long time ago about electing Hitler, where basically my remark was, well, if we're going to say that we're assuming everything in the political system stays the same, I'd rather have Hitler in office because nobody likes Hitler, so he wouldn't be able to do anything. But it's kind of a meaningless question at that point, right? Usually the assumption is they're going to get a decent amount of their agenda done. So I think I don't know at the end of that conversation was probably more in confusion to what capability would the president even have, rather than him all of a sudden forgetting why he ever posed the hypothetical in the first place, or rather suggested that he would vote for Epstein over.
Yeah, that's not my interpretation of why he answered I don't know. I mean, we clarified that I wasn't talking about that.
He has no clue. He's totally clueless right now. You think in his own head. Well, so then if you had to guess, why do you think he was more confused, I guess, about Epstein versus Hasan? You don't think he has an answer to that? If Hasan is clearly illiberal, and you say Epstein, though morally depraved, would defend the liberal order, you don't know what Hutch would answer there. Why do you think you don't know that? Do you think Hutch doesn't know? Do you think he just didn't tell you? Is Hutch being bad faith?
I think Hutch doesn't. I think Hutch doesn't know because I trust him, and that's what he told me. He doesn't know.
Okay, so you think Hutch is clueless there? He just has no concept of.
No, I think it's called being ambivalent or being conflicted.
But he wasn't conflicted. Do you think he rolls back on his answer of Epstein versus J.D. Vance then?
No.
So I think you're seeing the problem. J.D. Vance. but you don't know. Well, no, the answer is quite obvious. I think it's exactly what I said before. I think he would say, well, assuming Epstein would defend the liberal world order and Hasan wouldn't, he would go with Epstein despite him being a morally deplorable character.
So why wouldn't he say that then?
Answer. Because you were hardcore clip farming, debate broing him insanely in an attempt to steer the conversation. No. I don't know.
Well, you just said it was you just said it was an obvious answer. You just said that.
I believe
right?
So. Yes. Yeah.
So when I say it should be an easy layup, that's correct, right? It's obvious.
Well, if you're willing to, bite insane bullets while you're having a conversation with a friend where 50% of the chat is invested in personally character assassinating you, I don't know. In his position, it might be a lot tougher.
So maybe you can understand my consternation in the actual Live and Learn episode. Something that I feel should be a layup, where it's like, wait, you've already laid it out. He's illiberal. You've already given it for J.D. Vance. The obvious answer here is to say you prefer Epstein. Maybe you could understand why someone given those priors would be like a little bit annoyed that it's not being answered, especially because I don't think that Hutch is bad faith enough to sort of hide his answer if he really felt it was harm reduction. That's his whole point. And so it seems like you're ascribing more bad faith to Hutch than I am.
I think the main confusion is why the question of Epstein versus Hasan.
The reason why I asked the question, it's a great question. The reason I asked the question, Epstein versus Hasan, is because Hutch said he was essentially indifferent, as between Hasan and J.D. Vance. And I think I'd already known that Hutch had doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on Epstein over Vance. And so
let's real quick. Why was he indifferent on Hasan versus Vance?
Because he thinks that the harm between them presumably is negligible as relates liberal institutions and societal damage.
Okay, so that's your answer. So then why clip farm?
I'm not clip farming.
It's definite. Okay, let's say that Hutch were to finally bite the bullet, and let's say Hutch were to say, okay, fine, assuming Epstein would defend the world order, the liberal world order, despite the fact that Epstein, has abused children, I would vote for him over Hasan. What if your next question was, okay, let's assume that Epstein raped 1,000 children. Would you still vote for him over Hasan? Do you think that him struggling to answer that would be him being bad faith or confused? Or do you think the feeling would be, why are you asking me this question?
I think that question, I'll answer it. I mean, I know you're not talking about grave hypotheticals because that is part of how you have always run your intellectual debates, your philosophical debates.
I have no problem with rape hypotheticals. What I have a problem is that you brought up the Hasan versus Epstein thing when you already know the answer to that, but you only brought it up to clip farm. You did.
No. Clip farming implies that I'm wanting him to be attacked online, that I have a malicious motive.
Or that's what it feels. I'm telling you that's what every single person in the universe. If you didn't intend that, that's fine. But it's a failure of communication because I don't know how else you could ever interpret that question. You know why he's asking about Epstein versus Vance. It's illiberal versus liberal. You know how he's interpreting Hasan versus Vance. He'd kill himself. And now you're like, what about Epstein? Would you rather have the child rapist or do you have Hasan derangement syndrome? That's how that question is going to come across to everybody. That's how your whole chat took it. That's how everybody else took it.
The reason why I asked it, and it's not bad faith, unlike what if he had just running or walking away from the incident of another sexual abuse, just because that happened, or sorry, just after that happened, does your choice change or something like that? The reason it's different is because he had already bit the bullet on the Epstein thing, and so I felt that was like a reasonable extrapolation of his comfort level vis-a-vis clips. He'd already been clipped relentlessly on this Epstein thing, and he seemed he was comfortable with it. Isn't that a reasonable thing?
Bullied by who? Clipped and bullied by who? By Hasan. And then your next follow-up question is, well, would you vote for Epstein over Hasan, the guy who has doxed you and who's been clipping and bullying the fuck out of you? And also, by the way, I think you're
did you hear what I just
motivated
said?
to give this answer. Yeah, I heard everything you just said.
No, what I'm saying is, you just said I'm personally motivated. But I just want to make sure you respond.
No, these were claims that you said to Hutch, that after Hutch has been getting shit on for this take for the last day or two, that you decide to then up the ante for the same people that are shitting on him and then say, would you vote for Epstein over Hasan?
That's precisely what I thought I wasn't doing. I mean, so I just gave you an explanation So I just gave you an explanation for why I didn't feel it was upping the ante. The reason is he'd already shown his comfort with the Epstein comparison to Vance.
You don't think it's upping the ante then to make a comparison to the same guy that's been harassing you online next? For what purpose? You're not trying to tease out any more principles. You already know where he stands on it. What more are you trying to tease out?
We're trying to confirm finally that Hasan views
confirm what?
That Hutch views Hasan and J.D. Vance as equivalent, and this is a way to do that.
No, they're not equivalent. They're in the same bucket. They're both liberal.
that he's indifferent as between them for a choice.
Because they're both illiberal. He might not necessarily be indifferent, but it's going to... No, why not just ask him that? Why make the comparison to the guy who's been harassing him on...
No. Soy Pill tried.
Try to make the comparison to a guy who's been harassing him along with his entire community and half the internet over the past day. Why would you do that beyond clip farming?
So that's not my intent. Soy Pill tried asking him as between Hasan and Epstein. Sorry, Hasan and JD Vance. And the response was, he didn't give an answer. He said, I would shoot myself. We wanted an answer.
Pushed it for 30 minutes.
No. Why do you exaggerate like that? Do you think anyone believes it?
I'm not. It was so awkward that a guest was 6 words into answering a question. He just started screaming, saying, you disagree with Hutch then, right? I'm not exaggerating at all. It was incredibly uncomfortable. That's why his comment section was so brutal towards you.
No, that's a different issue. That's the AOC thing.
The conversation you had with the next day was some of the most insane, like running around in circles of, well, if they were elected, they wouldn't be able to achieve their goals and who would blah, blah, blah. Like, but you earlier in this conversation, you already know why he would choose Epstein over Vance. You know why the confusion would be.
Wait, no, I don't know. I don't know that because he says I don't know.
Wait, okay, hold on. So just so I'm clear, you don't know why he would choose Epstein over Vance now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misheard you. I thought you meant Hasan over...
You know why he said Hasan versus Vance would be a difficult argument, right?
I know that he... No, I don't, because he said he's indifferent, essentially. So I don't know that.
Do you think that the reason why he might be indifferent is because of the quality that led him to choose Epstein over Vance is a quality that he feels like Vance and Hasan share, namely being illiberal?
Right, which should make the Epstein question trivial.
It is. So unless you have a reason to believe that he's lying, why do you? Because he just got clipped. He's been harassed for the past 24, 48 hours. Like,
yeah, but I don't think Hutch is lying to me when he says he doesn't know. I think he's honest that he doesn't know.
I don't know. I think he spent
literally
the next
did, Stephen.
However much time trying to. Okay, so you think he just doesn't know? He's a retard. He has no idea.
No, I didn't say that. I think he's conflicted. He doesn't know. That's what he told me. And you're the one saying that that's not the case.
You can't possibly, because I know that's not the case, because it's a stupid answer. You either have no idea what he said to you, which I don't know why you've talked to him about this for hours, because it's painfully obvious to everybody else listening what he's trying to say. But you're telling me right now you don't know, and you believe he doesn't know if he would choose a liberal defender Epstein over an illiberal Hasan Piker. You have no idea. You have no idea what he would choose there.
You kind of fell into a little shit right here, because you understand what Hutch said. I don't know if you were listening to the conversation that you reviewed.
But I did. It's not about listening to what he
said. Listen. Wait, Steven, just chill.
Nonsense.
Just chill. No, there's no meta debate. Just chill. So the reason why you just stepped in it is because Hutch told me that the reason he was hesitating was the opposite. That the reason he was hesitating is because, and why he thought I was being like scummy or something, is because it's obvious that Hutch on the margin prefers Hasan. That's the direct opposite of what you just suggested. Hutch said in this conversation.
I do not believe that. No.
Well, do you want me to pull it up? I have the time. We'll pull this up right now.
If you want, pull it up and we can watch it. Sure.
100%.
Just curious, because I'm just curious. Is this a link from Gisticle?
No.
Okay.
I don't talk to Gisticle. He's about to say the direct opposite of your suggestion.
Clearly must inform my state of mind.
Me... My bad. I'm going to put this on 1 speed.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It informs my state of mind, right? Clearly it must inform my state of mind. But wouldn't me asking for qualifiers imply that I intuitively think that Hasan would be slightly better? If I don't need qualifiers for Vance and Trump, I would say, oh no, I would never vote for them. But I...
So you were wrong.
You haven't played any of the clip. I don't even know what he's comparing it to at this point. Isn't he saying that Hasan would be slightly better than Vance?
Yeah, and you said that
20.
Yeah.
Wait.
And your suggestion was that he would think that they're equivalent, and therefore it's obvious that that's the answer he would give. And here he is saying it's intuitive that Hasan is slightly better.
I didn't say they were equivalent. What did I say?
No, that indifferent between them.
No, I said that, yes, he'd be indifferent between Vance and Hasan, but they would both be in the bucket of illiberal. So one might be slightly better than the other, but not that it would make it like so obviously preferable that he would choose Hasan over a liberal defending Epstein. That's what we were talking about before you were looking for this clip, or Substance, whoever gave you this clip gave you this clip.
No one gave me this clip.
You were just supposed to
I
show
remember
me,
this
what
conversation.
What you were just supposed to show me was Hutch saying the exact opposite of me, which was that, oh, he would obviously choose Hasan over Epstein. That's not this. You're saying here he would choose Hasan over J.D. Vance, which may or may not be true. But the reality is the reason why he said he would kill himself is because both these people are in the bucket of super illiberal people, which at that point you're voting for Hitler or Hitler minus 3 million Jews killed. Both of them are...
Wait a second. So your contention before was it's so obvious Hutch prefers Epstein, he just can't say it because you're clip farming. How do you make sense of this clip and where he's saying?
How do I make sense of it? Because Hasan has doxed him and has got tons of people harassing him, and the whole snark left, half of which are in your chat, are so set against him on this. And now you're asking for a really unnecessary comparison that you and Hutch both already know the answer to. For what purpose, other than for getting him increasingly clipped by the guy who's already doxed and harassed him for the next week? Why would you ever do? What's the purpose?
I don't know if you just heard what I said and you think I'm gonna forget and get distracted, but what I just said was your contention is I'm bad faith because it's obvious that he prefers Epstein over Hasan. He just can't say it. In the clip we just saw, he said the reason I hesitated intuitively is because I think Hasan is slightly better than Vance. It's different than what you're suggesting.
What do you think this clip says? He spent this, I listened to this whole 3-hour talk. The 3-hour talk is him constantly saying the problem with Vance and Hasan is they are both illiberal. Now, you try to dress this up by saying, well, maybe they can't get what they want, whose policies are in a closer direction to yours or whatever else. And so that adds a little bit more to this conversation. But given the opportunity for a fully libbed out pedophile Epstein versus a fully tankied, politically capable Hasan, pretty sure that Hutch, I don't know, you can ask him next show, pretty sure Hutch would say, I guess I would go with Epstein here, the same way I'd go with Epstein over J.D. Vance, because J.D. Vance and Hasan both want to destroy the liberal world order. That's why Hutch in this conversation literally asks you, don't you think that that Hasan would, what was it, he said on day one, would he give intelligence to China or some other thing? Mm-hmm. And I think you asked, has he ever said that before? Something stupid. He asked as a hypothetical, these are things that Hutch would... I don't remember, whatever it was stupid. You can go find that timestamp of the video if you want. But the point of the question is that Hasan would do things that would fundamentally destroy the United States the same way that J.D. Vance would fundamentally destroy the United States. And he thinks Epstein probably wouldn't destroy the United States.
Okay. I mean, I guess I don't know your position. It's your position still that notwithstanding Hutch right there saying intuitively he thinks Hasan is better, notwithstanding that it's still...
Better than Vance. Better than Vance,
and that's why he's pausing, right? And that's why he's pausing.
He's asking you, no, because he's asking why, maybe hypothetically, why would he need more qualifiers maybe for Epstein or whatever here? Dude. But this is in the middle of a conversation where he's like,
dude,
if you listen to what?
So I can't. So you're calling me bad faith because I don't assume that Hutch's answer is it's so obvious Epstein, he treats them the same way. When here he's almost signaling that the intuition, directly signaling the intuition is the opposite. But the reason he's hesitating is and asking for additional qualifiers about Epstein with respect to Hasan is because intuitively he thinks Hasan is better. And if he thinks Hasan is better, then it's likely he would say Hasan over Epstein. And also Hasan over Vance. And therefore not being different.
Clip had anything to do with the Epstein comparison. He's just giving reasons why he might have... The actual answer...
No, it does. Listen to it.
Asking for qualifiers...
Wait, it informs my state of mind, right?
Here it is.
Clearly it must inform my state of mind.
But wouldn't me asking for qualifiers imply that I intuitively think that Hasan would be slightly better? If I don't need
and that is better than Vance, he's asking for qualifiers. The qualifiers he's referencing are with Epstein.
Qualifiers for Vance and Trump, I would say, oh, no, I would never vote for them. But I need qualifiers for Hasan. Doesn't that mean that I'm thinking more about possibly supporting Hasan?
I mean, I don't know, man. It's direct opposite of what you're suggesting.
Don't you think that some of the qualifiers might be the fact that we have a Trump administration right now, and we have a J.D. Vance that could theoretically assume Trump's position, and we've already seen that Trump is a massive threat and is doing everything he can to destroy the liberal democratic world order, that some of those additional qualifiers might be how much power would Hasan have if he were in office, the things that you guys literally directly talked about in this conversation, that those would be things that might relevantly inform his opinion, and that he might want to be, it doesn't really matter how he answers the Epstein versus J.D. Vance question, because J.D. Vance is not coming after Hutch on Twitter, not that I've seen. And as far as I know, Epstein is, it seems most people believe, he's dead. So probably doesn't matter how he answers that. But if you're going to start getting into the weeds of like Hasan versus Epstein, okay, well, fuck, maybe we need to add some more qualifiers on here so it doesn't seem like, especially when you've got Epstein, the multi-child rapist, versus Hasan, the guy who presents himself publicly, is the guy who just wants single-payer healthcare, right? Maybe it's worth fleshing that analogy out a little bit more, especially given the last 24 to 48 hours on Twitter, running roughshod over him with all the tweets and the quote tweets.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. I genuinely don't know what his take is on those hypotheticals. That's why I just dragged him in. Maybe he can resolve this.
Okay, wait. So Hutch can answer one second. But wait, just real quick. If you don't know the answer to that question, I'm assuming that you and Hutch are at least friendly, okay, if not friends. You've had this conversation with him for 4 or 5 hours, and you have no clue what the answer is to the question that inspired this extra 3.5-hour conversation. What's going on there? How is there such a failure or breakdown in communication?
I think that he's conflicted. I mean, Hutch, you can tell us more, but at the end of our conversation, you said you're not sure. I accept that answer, and I don't know.
No. So listen, like when we spoke, I said that the fact that I hesitated when you asked if, I swear to God, if we say Epstein one more time, but when you asked me like Epstein versus Hasan, I said that I would rather Minecraft myself. And the questions you had asked me before, it was like Hasan versus Trump. And I think I said the same thing. But the fact that I hesitated in that moment and I wanted qualifiers, like, I just don't think that that's a big deal. Like, maybe I was in a different mood that day, or maybe it indicates that like intuitively you could pick up on maybe that just means that I find Hasan to be slightly more palatable. But the whole premise that I was going with has been pretty consistent this whole time, which is that Trump and Hasan are both so illiberal that, or Vance and Hasan are so illiberal that neither one of those sound like a great option to me. That's what I mean when I say I'd rather Minecraft myself.
Right, but you're unsure about the disposition on the hypotheticals, fair?
Yeah, but that doesn't matter is the point I'm making. It really doesn't matter. Like, the point is, I find them both to be so illiberal that I would not want to live in a country that was ruled by either.
So I don't know. I totally agree with that. I just, like, the whole thing that Stephen is examining right now is whether I'm good or bad faith. And part of that argument from him is that I knew the answer, right? I already knew the answer. And so, of course, my motivation when asking the question is to just make you look bad, having, like, actually knowing the answer. And so, presumably, if you're not even sure, right, regardless of whether or not, and we certainly do agree that we don't want either of these people leading the country, regardless of whether or not we agree with that, and we do, whether or not you're sure is relevant to whether or not I'm good or bad faith.
Rather than the rambling, okay,
it's not rambling.
If Epstein was the same morally depraved, okay, child molester, whatever he is now, but Epstein would essentially be a neoliberal, liberal, defend the liberal world order, whatever you would expect him to be, like you would versus Vance. And it was that versus Hasan Piker, who had decent control over the government, could sell our secrets, could move us towards whatever communist ML thing that Hasan would want to do. Would you rather Epstein or Hasan as president in that environment?
I don't know why we're asking different questions than the ones that were actually asked.
that was the question that was asked. That's the question.
I don't agree.
What's the difference between that question and the one that was asked before?
The question was much
okay.
shorter.
I'm out. I just wanted to make. You guys were talking about my position, so
wait. Do you know your position though?
He probably doesn't want to answer the question because it's a child rape question versus Hasan Piker, who's been harassing him for a week on Twitter.
No, hang on. Just to be clear, I honestly do not give a fuck about any of that. I just don't look at my mentions. It really doesn't faze me for the most part. 99% of the time, that shit doesn't faze me. So it just comes with the territory.
So Stephen, you're wrong about that then. I mean, you were saying that Hutch was worried about all his mentions and that's why he was hesitating, and Hutch just told you that's not the case.
Okay, good job. So would you Epstein?
How about a fucking apology? Wait a second.
No, I would never apologize to you for anything. The way you conduct yourself on stream is one of the most disgusting people I've seen.
Let me just say something, okay? I think, like, Destiny, do you not understand about Pisco by now, with all the interactions that you've had with him, that he fucking just loves arguing?
No, because he's selectively critical, because he selectively turns on and off understanding depending on where he's at in an argument. The fact that he could perfectly explain earlier why somebody would choose Epstein over Vance, but somehow, is confused about why would somebody, have difficulty answering this question otherwise, or, exploring the conversation of why you would need the qualifiers or whatever. I don't buy that. No, absolutely not.
You think I selectively put on?
I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out.
Before. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, of course.
Okay, I don't feel that way. But listen,
you did. You wouldn't admit it, right?
Well, I mean, maybe not, but I'm just telling you the truth.
Okay, I mean, but if you were lying, you would say that. So you can repeat that ad infinitum, but it doesn't really change the fact of the matter, right?
I'm not. I guess like I debate harshly leftists, MAGA people, and libs. I debate. That's just always been my personality. You're a lib. I debated you very hardcore, and we got into heated shit all the time, and it was no skin off our back in terms of the nature of those dialogues, even when they got vicious. It's hard for me to fathom that, when I treat you similar in terms of our old debates as I treat Hutch, I think that you'll find there's absolutely no daylight between those two. And how I treat people like
the big difference is the community involvement, right? Is that if people were getting personal, saying you were a fake lawyer, like the random attacks like that, even for Lycan and Aaron, saying things like Lycan's opinions are influenced by Aaron, I would generally clamp down on people like that in my community because I thought that was a bad way to treat somebody that was on my stream. You have a person, one of your most frequent chatters is named Rose was 17, implying I'm a pedophile in your chat. I don't know why you're pretending like the moderation is the same. And it's not just me. These same people, when Lonerbox was on, were spamming that he was a genocide apologist, he was a radical Zionist, he was a Meridite who sat back and watched in the 80s the massacres of people. Like it's to pretend
so
that like,
what do
you want me to do? Ban them all? I don't know.
Well, no, I'm just like, you make that observation, and entailed in that observation, I think, is like, you're doing something wrong. Something has gone horribly wrong here.
Yes.
Right.
Correct.
Right. So,
yes. Correct.
So I'm trying to take corrective measures to address it, right?
No.
The thing that's gone horribly wrong.
No, of course not.
Well, no. I'm asking you, I should try to take corrective measures.
I mean, if you think it's an important thing to correct, but it could be that you just don't care about it.
No, I mean, like, on your view, it's an important thing to correct, right?
Yeah, but it might not be on your view.
No, but I'm asking your view.
If I wanted to protect the friendships or the reputations or the mental sanities or the integrity of the chats and the show that I'm involved in with co-hosts, I think I probably wouldn't want people spamming that guests that we're supposedly all on good terms with are genocide apologist Zionist people or whatever. In general, I think so, yeah. Among other things, yes.
I think that this reminds me a lot of previous conversations that you had in your community with people who would come on stream and complain to you about the nature of how they were being commented in your subreddit or in the chat, and help me find the through line there, because there is some amount of discourse that you want to allow, but some that you don't. And so help me out. What is your North Star?
My North Star was that if I had a chat room that was incessantly spamming stuff about a particular person that I didn't personally agree with, or that I didn't want to give the impression that I was condoning, I would do something to clamp down on that in my chat.
What do you think about the concern I have that I kind of like the open, people are allowed to like make accusations of, in terms of political alignment, like to call people genocide apologists. Should that not be allowed? Should it not be allowed to call someone, maybe some things go beyond the pale, but do you think that there's a place for like encouraging open discourse?
This isn't open discourse, though. It's not discourse. It's just people. Well, here, I'm curious. Mm-hmm. Israel's bravest soldier has arrived. Is that person engaging in discourse?
Sorry, what?
Hey, look, it's the genocide defender Loner Box. Loner Zionist Box. This guy is an Israel defender. Fuck this guy. Oh, nice, Loner Box. He's here to tell us how cool Israel and that Bibi is totally not doing war crimes and we should still support them. Yeah, Loner Box loves genocide. He's a fucking ghoul, man. Which of these comments is discourse? Oh, that's why Lonerbox loves ethnic cleansing. He doesn't believe in international law. Lonerbox laughed at sniped Palestinian children and justified it. He's not a good person. Are these discourse comments? Do you agree with these comments? Do you think
I don't agree with the comments, but they're like clearly discourse. They're people.
I didn't ask if you agree. They're discourse. Okay, so somebody coming in. So from now on, when I'm engaging with you, if my chat is, I don't really like Pisco much. I think he fucks kids. Do you think that's good discourse? Are they allowed to have that opinion?
I mean, I think that there's definitely a distinction between. I think that there's a distinction between, substantive allegations of misconduct, for sure, and political positions such as takes on like war crimes and shit. If Avi came into my chat and was like justifying the incursion into.
So you think that this? You think it's a substantive comment? No, because it's a worthless comment. You think it's substantive to say Lonerbox loves genocide. He's a fucking ghoul. That's why Lonerbox loves ethnic cleansing. He doesn't believe in international law. I think he's a fucking Zionist shill and genocide apologist. Money and blackmail from his Israel trip and ensuing drama. Do you think these are discourse comments?
I think the latter part of that ventures into accusations of relating to impropriety and misconduct, namely the part about being paid to go on trips without any evidence that it's involved or relates to actual like corruption or Israel payments or anything like that. And
when somebody asks,
I think that's accusations, but the genocide stuff. I just want to finish the thought. I think I'm trying to separate the comments that are
rambling, though.
Pointed. They're pointed and they're absolutely like derisive and like vicious. But they do relate to his positions. Now, maybe they're mischaracterizations of his positions. But if someone said, for example, and I want to get this example out, that Avi Bitterman is a genocide apologist, that Avi Bitterman supports, it doesn't care about international law and is like a scumfuck, do you think that is discourse? I think it is. On substantive political issues.
I think there's a greater degree of truth there about Avi. I think Avi would just say that to some extent. I think obviously I don't give a fuck about international law, and he might not care if Palestinians are being genocide. He seems to come off as much heavier on the pro-Zionist side. I don't know what he would say about the genocide. He might just say, I don't believe that there is a genocide. But I do think Avi would say, I don't give a fuck about international law.
What I'm trying to suggest to you is that I think that Avi would bite the bullet on international law. But I'm just saying,
exactly.
these run the gamut. These run the gamut.
No. I know you love that phrase, run the gamut. You use run the gamut to box in a whole bunch of behavior that is not like a whole bunch of other behavior. These are not comments that are politically engaging with Lonerbox. These are sycophants from the same Discord that make a ton of accounts, come to your chat, spam a whole bunch of knowingly false statements, false statements about Lonerbox just to attack him. They're not here for discourse.
Stephen, the difference is in terms of someone's interpretation of what Lonerbox is saying and what Avi is saying. Now, Avi, I think it's a very clear case, says I don't give a shit about international law. Now,
hold on. Do you think there's a reasonable? Do you think there's a reasonable interpretation? No. Do you think there's a reasonable interpretation that Lonerbox is pro-genocide?
No.
Then why did you just waste your time saying all that stuff? That there can be different interpretations.
No. Because whether or not something is like a substantive political point doesn't relate to my idea about whether it's reasonable. Reasonability is like my own notion about like a given conversation. I don't think it's reasonable, by the way, that I sweep for tankies. But you allow that discourse.
Wait, no. Well, because you do, but I could justify it. You're doing it right now.
Okay,
right?
I think that's unreasonable. I think that's an unreasonable position.
That's fine, but I can have a substantive argument about that. For instance, I can point out all of these comments and I can ask you, do you think that these are discourse and these are real positions on Lonerbox? And you're saying, well, no, I don't think these are reasonable. Well, some
I think are allegations of misconduct. Namely, that he's getting paid, right? So I did separate those out. That's why, though you interrupted me.
I asked you, do you think him saying he's pro-genocide, do you think that's a legitimate perspective that somebody who's engaged with his content could have?
By legitimate, do you mean do I agree with it?
No. By legitimate, do you think that it's something that they could have arrived at through a fair analysis of the things that Lonerbox has said?
No.
Okay, so then how is it discourse?
Well, just because it's not a fair conclusion to draw doesn't mean that it's not discourse. I mean, I allow MAGA people to make their bullshit arguments about the election being stolen. I have debates with Rob Noor. I don't think it's fairly reasonable for him to arrive at given conclusions. And so I think this issue is a little bit more difficult than you're giving Nick credit for.
It's not difficult at all. Those people aren't in your chat arguing that the election was stolen. So we're not talking about people in your chat.
They do. Wait. They do.
Wait. Okay, wait. So the next time you talk about election fraud, you think if I stepped into your chat, half the chat would be saying, I do think 2020 was stolen.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the incidents of it.
Talking about.
No,
I am talking about the incidents of it occurring in your chat because that's what we were just talking about.
No, we're talking about the nature of whether something is a substantive comment relating to discourse and when it's not. And I'm just saying whether or not I think it's reasonable or a fair, collection of the conclusion based on a good faith interpretation doesn't mean it's not a substantive point. And my example of that relates to the MAGA people.
Of your chat are going to align with what you substantively agree with. No,
says you. No, I have a lot of disagreeers.
So you think that the chat a person has should never reflect, broadly speaking, their
I didn't make such an extreme statement that it should never reflect.
What do you mean you didn't make such? I said broadly. That was a very general statement. You incredulously asked me, well, no, I don't think that they shouldn't reflect my opinions. I want broad discourse. You're appealing to these really general, broad terms. I think
I'm bored by it. If everyone agreed with me, I would be bored by that. And like why
are you presenting this as though I'm telling you to clamp down on disagreement? Do you think that calling Lonerbox a Zogbox person, that's just a legitimate political disagreement? Or saying that Lonerbox supported the Sabra and Shatila massacre, that these are just political disagreements and you just want a broad swath of opinions in your chat? Do you ever even confront or deal with any of these opinions? Have you ever argued ever in your entire life with your chat about whether or not Lonerbox supports genocide a single time ever?
I have never once argued with someone in my chat about whether.
So then you're not even having discourse on these. It's literally just a bunch of people that are just shitting on them and making personal attacks.
I mean, these chats are happening at the time I'm engaged in a conversation, and it's not the case that I have these long conversations regarding Lonerbox's opinions or stated views on genocide. Although maybe that should lead to me being like reticent. You're asking, do you ever have...
I'm not telling you to moderate it. I'm asking you, why do you think they appear there? Why are they so comfortable and why are they so prevalent in just your chat? Even Soy Pill's chat isn't this bad.
Hang on a second. So I think I've already answered this question. The reason that they come to my chat is A, I don't ban them on the basis of their political view, and B, because they
no one is asking you to ban somebody based on the basis of political view.
Well, you are.
These are people who are brigading your... I've never said... I'm sorry. What did I say to ban on political view?
Yeah,
I just asked you if these are legitimate political views to have. That Lonerbox is a Zionist
by legitimate, what do you mean? Legitimate meaning it's fair?
But legitimate as in like the person who owns the streaming platform. It's your stream and it's your chat.
No. What do you mean by
a conservative or a MAGA?
No, but I have a lot of people with unreasonable takes that I don't think are fair that I let into my chat. Even though it's not a legitimate on your view, which is something approximating like a fair inference based on all the facts or something.
If I walked into a person's chat and a trans person was on a YouTube video and every single person in chat started going, ew, tranny, do you think that I would have a different response if the streamer themselves said, oh my God, gross, versus another streamer going, oh, cool, it's a trans person or whatever? Do you think I would feel a little bit weird in the second example, but I kind of understand it in the first example? That in the first example, the chat would be an accurate reflection of the streamer, and in a second example, there'd be a very weird schism between what the streamer purports to believe and what the chat is reflecting?
In the one case in which the streamer encourages it and the one where they're nonplussed about it, help me out here. For the two examples.
You don't think it's reasonable that most
I just want you to reiterate the two examples.
I'm reiterating that in one example, if a chat is highly transphobic, but the streamer themselves is transphobic, I would understand and accept that. But in a world where the stream chat is highly transphobic, but the streamer themselves seems to be incredibly trans-supportive, I wouldn't understand that. That'd be very confusing to me.
Well, it's possible that the people who are going to that stream are there for different reasons and for different opinions, or because the streamer encourages...
Just say? What a worthless statement. They go to the stream for different reasons or for different... Do you think it's random what streamers people watch? Do you think it's a totally random...
I'm not saying it's random. That's precisely the opposite of what I'm saying. You want me to get it out, or do you want to just...
I mean, you can get it out, but you're just yapping. You're just saying nothing.
It's not yapping. I mean...
Like, do you think, I mean, like, here's a very pointed question. Do you think that streamer chats tend to reflect the ideology or perspectives of the streamer? Yes or no?
I think they tend to, yes.
Okay.
And but not on everything, necessarily.
Wildly from that, did I say on everything?
No, but I'm just putting it out there.
Okay, thank you. All right, that's good. That's good. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Okay, yeah. So do you think that it would be really weird if there was a huge division between what the chat thought about an important topic to the streamer and what the streamer thought? That would be a really strange thing?
Depends on what. It depends on the streamer.
Political opinion of a political streamer.
I don't find it that weird, no. Because, for example, I'll give you some examples. Is that okay, or do you want me to stop talking?
Give me one example.
Okay.
The best example you can think of.
I stan Merrick Garland. My chat does not agree with me. They think it's shitty. I think that Joe Biden's pardon of his son was corrupt. Most people in my audience don't agree with that.
Okay, I think that these are two kind of like sub points. I think it's very rare in life that you're going to find a person whose like most important political part of their ideology is their feelings on Merrick Garland and their feelings on Hunter Biden being pardoned. I don't think these are going to be make or breaks.
I have a view on Ethan's lawsuit. Most of my audience disagrees with me. All of my videos on it get review bombed, minus 50% by my own audience.
Okay.
My own Discord mods are all like very interventionist, neocons. They disagree with me on, they think I'm a weak liberal internationalist or whatever. They disagree with my take on the global entry thing. They agree with you. They disagree with me on
let's without using you as an example, because a lot of these are confounded by the thing that I'm saying is very strange, right? So you have an obsessive group of people that have feelings about H3's lawsuit, for instance. So it makes sense that there's going to be divergent. That's all that is weird. If you were to step into another streamer's chat and the streamer said they were a liberal and half their audience was MAGA, or if they said that they were MAGA and half their audience were liberals, like strongly liberal or strongly MAGA, would that not be confusing to the majority of people? The most people
I think it would
say
be.
It seems like
I think it would be confusing for the majority of people. I'd grant that. Obviously, your numbers are. I don't have any reason to believe your numbers are anything close to accurate in my case, but yes, I think it would be confusing.
If you had to guess on an episode of Live and Learn, on the one with Lonerbox, what percentage of the comments do you think were like highly hostile towards Lonerbox and Hutch? If you were to ballpark it, I'm not asking for like a specific. But if you just
from my chat or for overall?
From your chat.
If I had to guess, probably a plurality of the comments were critical of Hutch. I think a lot of people who don't like Hutch congregate to my chat.
Okay. And you think that's just because you allow a wide range of discourse? Do you think that people that are critical of Hutch are critical to Hutch in a way that is constructive or destructive?
Destructive.
And you don't care about that at all? That doesn't
I care about
impact you at all?
That's why I have the conversation with Hutch.
You don't think
when he requests it? That's why I always try to tell my audience that this is all just debates. It's all just discussions, and that we agree on way more.
Do you think
that's why I take the opportunity to agree with him.
Do you think that your community was warmer or colder towards him at the end of the 3.5-hour talk you had?
Sure. I think that it's probably the case that they're colder to him. And I think part of that has to do with how long it was and how it seemed that it was tough for us to get common ground. I'm sure that's true.
So if you've got a community that's already a plurality of them are critical to Hutch in a destructive way, and you have a conversation where explicitly the goal is to warm your community up to Hutch, and they come away from that even worse.
That wasn't the goal. Wait, no, that wasn't the goal. That's the purpose goal. The goal was to, Hutch wanted the conversation. I wanted to engage with him in good faith, and I'm just having the conversation. I don't really have another ulterior motive.
Okay, so do you have any desire whatsoever for your chat to reflect broadly the opinions and views you have of either your politics or the people around you, or?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so then when the majority or when a plurality of them seem to be destructively critical of people that they should understand the most, right? Like Hutch, I'm guessing is one of the people you do the most content with. So they should be one of the people they understand more than anybody else. Doesn't it signal that there's some critical failing there?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay, so help me bridge the gap on that. What besides a critical failing of communicating your feelings and beliefs to your audience could explain why a plurality of them are destructively critical towards one of your podcast co-hosts?
I think oftentimes people react emotionally to different arguments and different sort of setups. And the mere fact that Hutch and I are engaged in an antagonistic thing sometimes because we differ on some key issues, irrespective of the fact that I think that ultimately it's good, like back and forth, that it can be valuable sometimes. I don't think it's necessarily a failing of Live and Learn that we get into those situations, but the mere fact that we do get into those situations might tend to cause certain destructive comments, notwithstanding a lack of failure in the overall scheme of the show.
Do you think that you have a healthier or more politically informed Discord in your chat than in any of the other Lib and Learn chats?
I'm not sure. I don't go there chats.
Wait, so you have no concept of what any other chat looks like at all? You're just, but you
only when I'm in Hutch's chat, which is probably once every couple weeks. What's up, dude?
Well, I mean,
do you really think I'm just trying to fuck over Hutch because I want to be best friends with Hasan?
I've never said that in my entire life.
No, I'm just asking, like, what do you think I'm doing?
I don't know sometimes.
To make money?
I'm totally honest. I mean, like, no, I don't think it's to make money. I've never said that either. That's another delusion you've either crafted or been told by somebody else. I don't know.
Then I must be crazy. You must think I'm, like, literally crazy.
No, I think you're very ego-driven and sometimes kind of a huge piece of shit interpersonally. I think it's insane to me that you could sit in a chat and watch your chat just absolutely fucking tear into people like Lonerbox or Hutch, two of like the only actual fucking liberals on the internet on the show Live and Learn, while there's like a creepy weirdo fucking tanky cult ran by Queen and Gisticle that are openly and obviously talking in your Discord, making multiple accounts in your YouTube chat, and you sit here and say, well, it's in the defense of discourse that people are making fun of Lonerbox's ethnicity to say he's a genocidal freak. That's just
that's against
things wrong.
That's
with
against.
That.
I would ban that
brain,
person.
I can't even imagine.
I would.
You didn't ban them at all, and you won't ban them. You won't green ban them.
I will.
Any person with the name Kathy, all of these weird.
I will definitely. I will ban people who.
But it's also. This is part of the strategy, right? Like I need to ban them. I need to ban them. It's
not
about
banning. What is the
question? The question should be, why do you draw those people?
I don't know. Why should that be the question?
A whole bunch of people are like, I fucking hate. Because it says something about your character if those are the types of people you attract and nobody else around you seems to attract that audience. It says something. Now, it might be that you genuinely don't care or that you support their comments or you think they should be allowed to flourish or whatever.
I allow hateful comments of myself in my chat, in my YouTube comments. I don't.
Do you think that's the same thing?
No, I don't think it's the same thing, but it's just to show you that I'm not trying to cultivate a community that agrees with me all the time. It's my wish that they would. But
why do you keep saying that? It's not about agrees with you. You're not cultivating a community that is having genuine political disagreement. They're just shitting on and destructively attacking everybody around you.
Yeah,
if your chat was full of a bunch of people who were saying like, I think Lonerbox's reading of the Last Israeli thing, I think it was crazy. I think that Lonerbox's opinion on Gaza are fucked up. I don't think Lonerbox gives enough on war crimes that Israel's doing. That's fine. Those are perspectives. But I think that's different in kind.
Right. So let's separate
that phrase. Run the gamut. I think it's different in kind.
No, but you just agreed with me.
I'm not agreeing with you because you use this phrase called "run the gamut," where you pretend
there's a range of shit that like
it's not a range.
There's some things that's clearly
ontologically different in kind. Okay. It's a different thing in kind, and you seem to either be intentionally misunderstanding that, or you just don't seem to understand that.
What I'm trying to tell you when I say that the spectrum stuff is there are clear cases and there are unclear cases. There are some comments that I think are more ambiguous in terms of whether they're responding to substantive political points or whether they're trolls or whether they're attempting to ascribe, malicious accusations of misconduct, and that it's a little bit more complicated, I think, that you're letting on. And I just I look back and I think about all the different times people raise these concerns with you to folded arms. And I think that maybe...
But the thing is, and we can talk about those, and I understand you've been told by all these people about Mr. Girl. If you want, we can go and revisit any one of those things. I know that you know what you're saying is bullshit, because I know that you know, for instance, Dan is unhinged and obsessed, and I know you have watched me personally multiple times when Dan is saying some crazy shit about you, go, I don't do that. We're not going to attack Pisco on this. I'm not going to say he's a fake lawyer. I know that you know that I've banned people posting that on my subreddit. I've banned people making threads on that I made personal interventions for weird comments about Lycan and Aaron, despite the fact that I can't stand either of them, right? Despite the fact that both of them are part of other groups or whatever, I still don't allow those comments. So you can try to say that because of this, and you're really I'm pretty sure you're just referring to the Mr. Girl stuff because that's what people told you. When Mr. Girl was banned from my subreddit, he made 700 posts, I think in like a week, and then my mod temp banned him, and then he lost his mind on it. But I don't know how you can claim what is an issue that you think I don't get it perfect all the time, but I'm always trying to moderate my community. What is a topic that you think I just totally let run rampant in my community?
Yeah, so
at any point ever in the past 10 years.
As I sit here, I recall certain people, begging you to do one thing or another with your community in Discord. As I sit here,
for what? What one thing? What?
Yeah,
thing?
no.
What one thing?
As I sit here, maybe there's this the Lavloon or someone like that, as I recall. But again, as I sit here,
I've for Lav before, but I can't. I can't stop. Sure, but also keep in mind, Lav was the most instigatory, aggressive person on the internet. I did delete threads, at least one thread for Lav. I'm sure my community knows about it. For all of the unhinged criticism against Lav, who I think is a subhuman piece of shit, but there are still a lot of people who are misogynistic against her. I did, on multiple times, tell my community, hey, we're not going to make misogynistic comments. So, yeah, you can point to people being mean, but I don't think that that's the same as saying I've let these people go crazy and run rampages on people.
Steven, it's possible that that's a wrong impression. As I hear,
but also, wait,
I don't remember instances.
Real quick. I just want to say this real quick too. I know, but just want to say this too. Your comparison was Lav, who has sought and leaked revenge porn of me, has talked shit about me, done all sorts of crazy shit. This is like one of my mortal fucking enemies, and you're using that as a comparison for how you let your chat treat your boy Hutch.
Yeah, no. So
what the fuck?
So I think I'm referring to a time period in which that wasn't the case. You got me?
I don't think that's ever happened.
Okay. Because I'm not, as I sit here, I'm happy to say that I don't have specific examples to bring up with you that I have instant recall of. But either way, it's just like not my motive to fuck with Hutch. And so maybe like I have a different view on moderation. And Dev gave me some things to think about with respect to the kind of like consistent standard for myself. And so I genuinely will think about that. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I want to be clear. I invited DGG moderators to come join the moderation team. It's not like I'm avoiding suggestions. I'm just asking for suggestions. And that's why I find it weird.
But you're not. And I've read those conversations that where you do this sticking thing of like, so should I ban this thing? You're totally missing the point.
What's the rule? What do you want the rule to be?
You're not. If you had a boyfriend or girlfriend or a friend and you went to hang out with their friend group, and as soon as you walked in, you heard all of them say, "I fucking hate Pisco. I hate his fucking eyebrows." Would you say to your friend,
but I'm not saying that.
Could you just tell them, no. I'm just saying that you wouldn't tell. Then your friend's like, "Well, what's the problem?" And you're like, "I don't know." And you're like, "Do you want me to just tell them not to make comments about your eyebrows?" Like,
no. I do call people out. I do call some people out. I don't get to everything, just like you don't get it to everything, I'm sure.
No,
with respect to Hutch. No, I do. I can get you.
Don't read your chat. You just said you
don't.
No,
I don't. No, I don't say I never. No, I don't say I never read my chat. I said on Live and Learn when I'm engaged with like 4 or 5 other people, shit gets through. A couple of things get through, and I think that there's some things that you described there that would be bannable, 100%.
It's not a couple things. It's like half the chat.
Okay, I mean, show me specific things, and I'll go back to the VOD. That's linked, and I'll take a look at it. But
it's not about going back to
what is it about? What should I do? Tell me what to do.
Your community.
No, tell me what to tell me I want the prescription.
No, it's not,
how to solve it.
Those things where if you have to say it, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't count.
Why?
If you're fine with it, because it's like reminding a significant other about fucking Valentine's Day or something. It just doesn't mean much. Or to say something like, "Hey, could you compliment me right now? Because I need words of affirmation." You're like, "Oh, okay, you're pretty." It doesn't really hit the same way. It doesn't work at that point, right? If you don't have a natural desire.
No, I don't want to make Hutch. I don't want to make Hutch uncomfortable. I have that desire.
No. If you don't have a desire for your chat to reflect the feelings that you have to some extent towards other people, at least in non-destructive ways, that just says a lot about, I guess, what you're willing to put forward into the world. That's just it's a very insane thing to me, and it doesn't seem to be reflected in almost any other streamer's chat that I'm aware of. Certainly nobody in your sphere.
I mean, I don't know, dude. We've had this like moderation conversation internally, and we've had stuff with you and with other people messaging me that we should like immediately ban certain individuals or certain.
Why do you keep jumping to that? Why do you keep saying that? Immediately ban?
The reason I go there is because I'm trying to solve an issue.
Is that the only thing you know for how to moderate a community? Is to ban people? That's all you know.
I'm requesting more guidance from people who know better, who claim to know better, like you.
I think that the way that you interact with people, and I think that what you allow in your community sends a huge message to your community about the types of behavior that's allowed. The fact that you found it so important.
No one doubts that. I'm asking for a recommendation.
About Ethan or Destiny stuff, that you banned it from your Discord. But the fact that that same rule, for some reason, didn't seem to carry over to your Twitch chat or your YouTube chat or your Kick chat is kind of strange. Why was it so bothersome in one area, but not in the other area?
I'll tell you why. Because we didn't have a Destiny snark problem in the Discord. That wasn't a problem. That's something you invented. And so the rule is not
something I invented.
It's not true. We didn't have a Destiny snark problem. Most of my people in my Discord are fans of yours.
If I go to your Discord right now, am I going to see Gisticle saying things like, I don't think that, or it's almost like Destiny just wants to come in and show a bunch of bad logs from Pisco's chat to try to emotionally signal that he's not in here with a whole bunch of his other friends, Carmel and everything else from his Discord server.
If he's doing that in the Discord, if he's done that in the Discord, he'll be banned because there's a rule against that now. That's Rule 16. But that what I'm saying,
I see that he was reminded of that, but they're in there. All of them are in there.
What I'm trying to say is that rule wasn't to resolve a problem. It was to resolve the perception of a problem.
Okay,
we don't have a Destiny snark problem.
All of those same people. You say you don't have a Destiny snark problem. One of your most frequent Twitch chatters is called Rose was 17.
Yeah. So the problem, I think, is when it's in Discord and it's like behind. There's this feeling that we're all like cultivating snark or whatever.
Hold on, wait, I'm just trying to get at what is Rose was 17? What do you think that means?
Yeah, it's a reference to you for sure.
Okay, being a pedophile, right?
Yes.
Okay, but you don't have a snark problem.
Well, I think the existence of a snarker in my chat doesn't constitute.
Do you think there's just one? Like what about all the Kathy accounts? Do you think those are Gisticle related? What about the Doobie donations? Do you think those
banned
are
from the
Gisticle
Discord? Doobie donates to Connor, unless you think that Connor has a snark problem.
That's no.
These people
Connor
go to
takes a much stronger. Connor actually takes a real stance.
These people go to dude. Come on. Connor gets these people, has these people in their chat, and they go to his chat.
Connor fights with these people. You let them run roughshod over everybody.
I don't
Nobody
know
has to guess where Connor stands on any of this.
With respect to what? With respect to what? JD Vance and politics and socialism, or with respect to
opinions about other streamers and other else. Everybody knows Connor's positions on it, and he knows what he allows and doesn't allow in his chat. But these people don't even try in Connor's chat because they know it's not going to.
No, but you don't really have. Do you have a problem with Doobie being in Connor's chat?
No, because Connor makes his position and stance on all these things clear, and he doesn't hide behind this veneer of the behavior runs the gamut. And well, I like lots of discourse. That discourse just so happens to be calling people Zionist genocide supporters and pedophiles.
Okay, so you think that the Destiny Rule 16 should be applied in the chat, but not for other people, right? No, I'm asking you. You said it's weird. It's not applied to both.
No. I'm not playing this game because I'm not so easily fooled. That's not the question. And that's not the game. It is a trick.
You just want to keep repeating. Exactly. Why are they there? Why are they there? Why are they there? Why are they there? That's a loop. That's a loop.
It's a loop because you're not answering the question honestly. You keep saying, "Well, because I think that I allow a lot of discourse." This isn't discourse.
I'm okay. So
you said yourself that
here's why I think
it was destructive. That's not discourse. It's just shitting on people.
Here's why I think
constructive criticism is snarking.
Here's what I think. Why I think a lot of Destiny haters show up to my chat is because A, I'm not afraid to disagree with you. B, I'm not afraid to call out people that they think are enemies. And C, a lot of them, I think that there is overlap between a lot of them and leftist communities, and they've liked what I've had to say about, proximate allies, and they like what I've had to say about Ethan Klein's lawsuit. That's why I think they're there.
You don't think that any of it is an intentional brigade behavior from?
I'm not covering. But the thing is, how does that make sense? Because do you think that I go out to shit on you constantly? I don't do that.
No, but you don't have to. You don't have to do it. The chat does it for you.
I don't engage with that.
Same thing with loaner.
I might as well ban.
Don't engage with it. Yeah. So, now we're gonna do should I ban it? Should I ban every message about this?
What do you want me to do? Align more with you and.
Yes, you have to agree with me on everything.
No,
yes.
I'm asking what is it that you're saying? I don't want to give any prescription whatsoever, right?
I have an incredibly negative opinion of you, and I have had for a while. If you go into my chat, are people saying things like I don't even know what personal accusations people would make about you because we don't even engage in that here. People might call you like the worst. Like people say like, oh, he's a piece of shit or he's an asshole. Or maybe they'll call him like a grifter or is trying to appeal to lefties or whatever. But we still would ban the fake lawyer comments. We'd speak out about that. If somebody says something super egregious or unhinged, even about liking our Aaron, right? People in chat will say something. They'll be like, well, hold on, I don't know if that's cool or whatever. Even though I have an incredibly negative opinion of you. I'm not trying to align with you. I just don't like those types of comments in my community because I know the types of things that they breed or foster. Now, you don't have to have that same opinion. That's fine. But I don't like the playing ignorant or stupid about it. Well, I think these people are just here because I feel... Okay.
Because they're not here because I'm like snarking on you. You'd grant that.
No, but they're there because they know they can snark. And it's one of the things that keeps at least some of that crowd around because they know that they're able to go in there and they're able to pump those comments through about Loner Box, about Hutch, about me, about any liberal that goes on your show. And they enjoy doing that in your chat, uniquely in your chat, not in any of the other people on that show.
Well, listen, you've given me a lot to think about in terms of snarking generally. I think that the concern on snarking, though, as you've expressed it, and certainly as Usurp priorly expressed it, is for snarking at particular people. I don't think you have a problem with snarking Hasan, snarking Ethan Klein really that much on certain issues.
We don't typically do. I mean, like, I don't even know how much we can snark Hasan for. I mean, we'll do the I guess the broth.
Bro, you don't believe this? Come on, man. Speak plainly. You don't believe that.
Fun, we've started. First of all, shut the fuck up, okay? Number one. Number two, like, if we do, it's just because this guy has engaged in such an unfathomable level of snark against me, including doxing me, including every single time he references me, he calls me sex pestiny, Epstein, pedostiny, or whatever, and is like reading down my Kiwi Farms thread on stream. So we might do a little bit of snark against Hasan. But even for these people, like we tend to limit it because it turns the community into a certain type of thing, right? Like most of the complaints that we have against Hasan, like you can watch my chat during the Hasan and Adam Mockler thing. Almost all of the complaints were political.
With respect to Mockler or with Hasan?
With respect to Hasan.
Yeah, I mean, I have no doubt about that. In the moment.
So it's not even, most of our comments about Hasan are usually ones of like political hatred. Like that's how we engage with him substantively almost all the time.
I think that's an overstatement. I mean, in the context of a debate, I understand that, you saying that, but you're saying that conceptually, sort of, as a philosophical or principled matter, encouraging snarking is bad.
Generally speaking.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, but also keep in mind again, you're going to comparisons between like my mortal fucking enemies who have doxed me, have done infinite amounts of personal attacks against me, against my family, right? And I'm talking about how your co-hosts that you were supposed to be friendly with are treated, right? That's the comparison that you keep running to.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to run to any place or to try to say that I moderate communities perfectly or that they're.
That's not what I'm saying. What a weird that I'm not perfect.
No,
one's saying about it being perfect.
No,
you're indifferent to it. You said you're indifferent to it.
No, I didn't say that I'm indifferent to it. That's a lie.
You did. You said you don't moderate it. You're asking, well, what do I ban? Right?
No.
Like if
it's a lie to say that I'm. It's a lie to say that I'm indifferent towards negative comments toward my co-host. That's not true.
Really? Because it seems like every time they point them out and they read them, you've got to go running through your chat to attempt to find it or whatever, and 90% of the time you even ban the person. I think the last 2 times I watched you try to chase a comment down, you even ban the person. People in your own chat even remark, wow, why are so many people here so fucking mean towards Hutch or whatever? Because they can't seem to understand it sometimes. And they're not making like political, critical comments. You yourself said earlier, the majority of them are destructive.
So I think that a lot of the people who engage with Hutch's commentary in my comments are kind of doing like low effort critiques of Hutch. Not all though. I mean, there's a lot of, I think, critiques of Hutch that I agree with. But on certain given days, I'll see a lot of like Hutch's stupid, Hutch's this and that. I will see that of me on other chats as well. But I'm just gonna be honest with you, Stephen. It feels like on that view, at least as pertains to me, and maybe you're saying it's different because these are my co-hosts and I'm not your co-host or anything. Feels like DGG sometimes is a Pisco snark subreddit. And when you cover every single Live and Learn episode and just talk shit and constantly talk shit about my motives, I'm doing this for money. That's what the chat says.
When do I say you're doing this for money? You can't talk with lines of substance or whoever has given you. I don't think I've ever said you do this for money. I'm pretty sure when I'm talking about your motivations, that's one of the things that I'm the most confused about. I don't think you ever are optimizing for money or audience or whatever else. I don't think.
Then what do you think? I don't understand. Like you have this incredibly negative view of how I moderate the community, that I'm doing it for some nefarious purpose. What purpose? I mean, make sense of that for me.
I don't know. I truly have no idea. For somebody who is so upset about Ethan claiming you were a fake lawyer, for you to stand by and watch the most insanely unhinged chat comments fly by about your co-hosts, I don't understand it. I think there's some degree of audience capture. I think the biggest part is probably
audience capture is like grifting stuff. Audience capture is like, I'm telling them things I don't believe.
Grifting. It could be that you know that if you do a certain, I think that if you want to call it bad faith, then fine. But I think that if you had to reset your brain and you had an episode of Live and Learn and you glanced over at your chat and you glimpsed half of them giving destructive criticism towards Hutch, I think you go, wait, hold on, guys, what the fuck? I don't think this about Hutch. I don't hate. I
have said such things.
What the fuck are you guys?
In fact, in the very in the very podcast. Wait a second. Wait, no. In the very podcast. Come on, hey, let me finish this. In the very podcast episode that you saw, I remember it clearly. There were people going after Hutch and Jose saying, "Oh my God, these fucking guys talking about Kamala Harris. They just want to lose the election." I stopped everything to say, you guys going after Hutch and Jose, they're just reading polls. You guys are acting like babies, and that's fucked up. I do this, and maybe I should do it more, but it seems like people, the more you do it, will think it's condescending and not real.
Or maybe it just gets a signal from you about what you want to see in your chat. But also, those aren't even remotely close to the types of comments that I was talking about earlier. I think if those were the types of destructive comments, I think anybody else around you would probably be much happier for it.
I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, those comments were that I'm referencing right now were pretty bad faith interpretations of what Hutch was saying. Pretty like fucking stupid and inane.
Okay, here, I'm linking something in the general. I'm linking something in the general chat in the Piscord. That Imager album, okay? It's just a few comments for somebody clipped this in like fucking like 2 minutes.
It's within our is this images
in the
of
general
like
chat in Discord.
No, but is this images of the Discord
chat
or
messages
images of the chat? Okay.
Of the chat messages during Live and Learn.
Hey, look, it's genocide defender Lonerbox. Israel's bravest soldier has arrived. Loner Zionist box. This guy's an Israel defender. Fuck this guy. Oh, nice Lonerbox. He'll tell us how cool Israel and that BB is totally not doing war crimes and we should still support them despite 8% of Democrats supporting that policy. Yeah, Lonerbox loves genocide. He's a fucking ghoul, man. That's why Lonerbox loves ethnic cleansing. He doesn't believe in international law. Lonerbox laughed at sniped Palestinian children and justified it. He's not a good person. Not denying the sniper laughing allegations, though. Lonerbox is a genocide defending piece of shit. And they're accusing him of defending genocide. And you're not going to like the question. I mean, what's the point? You're refusing to give any kind of prescription, aren't you?
I guess the question is, when you look at these, the two questions are, is one, how much of these do you agree with? And then two, how much of these represent a thought process that you think is valuable to discourse in your community?
I don't agree with these comments. I don't have a basis to believe that Lonerbox is a Zionist. I don't, frankly, spend a lot of time looking at Lonerbox's Israel positions. Maybe he's a Zionist. Whether he defend genocide, I think his view is that it's not a genocide. That's his view, right? I think that we've DM'd about that we might schedule a genocide discussion.
What maybe he is. What do you mean when you say?
Wait, you're asking me.
What are you interpreting that to mean?
Wait a second. You're asking me to evaluate. You're asking me to evaluate the truth of these claims. I'm telling you, I'm going through them.
I said how much of these do you agree with?
Do you agree with?
Yeah.
Right.
When somebody says, so for instance, when somebody says because I want to hear your thought process.
Wait. Yeah. You just acted like that was different. You're asking me to evaluate my sense of whether these are true.
Correct. Yeah. Well, yeah. True. I mean, if you agree with them,
you can't give ground fucking at all, even with the fucking shit about.
No.
It's so crazy.
No. It's not crazy at all. It is true, or you would agree with them. It can be interpreted in different ways. I'm just clarifying what you said. Okay. When somebody says loner Zion, these word games don't work with me. Okay. Loner Zionist box. When you think like, well, maybe Lonerbox is a Zionist. What do you think Zionist means there? How do you think they mean that?
In its normal usage, Zionism? Pro-Zionism? How else am I maybe I'm ignorant. I don't know.
Is supportive of the state of Israel?
No. Wait. No, an ideological Zionist is one who's committed to the project of the Jewish homeland in Palestine, or mandatory Palestine, or in the Levant, or however you want to say, or Greater Israel. Committed ideologically.
Okay, expand.
Well, people's ideologies are like their worldviews, and if someone, as part of their worldview, is dedicated to the existence of a Jewish homeland in
okay,
the Levant,
in today's
Zionists.
Political climate, I don't know how many of these conversations you've had at this point. When somebody calls you a Zionist, especially in a derogatory manner, especially in a political conversation like this, the claim is that you think that Jews have a right to genocide or ethnically cleanse Palestinians with no recourse, and that the rest of the world should either support them or stand by and watch.
I think that's not what most people mean.
When they, in this context, you don't think so?
I think those are other views this person probably has, if I'm going to guess, but that's not what the term Zionist means.
It's use, not prescription, description, right? We go by how people use the words, right?
Yeah, I think people use the term Zionist. Sometimes it's a dog whistle for Jew.
If you were listening to a group of people talking and somebody said, oh, he's a Zionist, would you assume that they're simply describing a political position with normative indifference?
Unless I have other facts about the person that I know them to be anti-Semitic or something, I would assume that they're referring to Zionism in a derogatory sense.
Okay. And probably some of the logical extensions of that, namely the supporting of the genocide. Like, for instance, it would be really weird for somebody to say, oh, that guy, he's a Zionist. But I think he thinks that the Palestinian treatment is a genocide. That would be a really weird sentence, generally speaking. You wouldn't hear that combination where, oh, he's a Zionist, but he's really against the genocide of the Palestinians, right?
What are you suggesting here? That the Zionist term here is meant to say that he's a genocide defender?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not a good faith assessment of it's not even trying to be a good faith assessment of Lonerbox's views. They're just all calling him like a genocidal maniac, a genocidal freak.
So when leftists call people Zionists, you think they're uniformly stating that those people are genocide apologists?
Yes, of course. Obviously.
Okay. I mean, there are other comments that just explicitly say that, so I don't know. That's not my interpretation of how the term Zionist is
because
used.
People say, well, of course, there's a variety of ways that people say the same thing, of course. Do you think that the guy was merely describing that he's committed ideologically to the existence of the state of Israel when he calls him loner Zionist box? He's just saying that into a vacuum?
I think he's saying he's an Israel defender. I think that's what he's suggesting.
Defender of what? What is Israel defending for right now? Against charges of genocide?
Among other things. War crimes, among also
genocide. So he supports all those things, right? That's what that comment means.
Well, again, that person can have other views, but by itself, I don't take that. Maybe it's a signal of all these other views.
It's in a chat with a whole bunch of other people spamming the same type of stuff.
So let's get to the prescription. Is that okay?
No, I think I'm just more interested in your feelings about it. The prescription is easy. It naturally follows. But if you don't think any of it's a problem, then there is no prescription, because why would you want one?
Because you're chicken shit. Because you're chicken shit.
I'm not chicken shit.
Yeah,
you're chicken shit. Because you're trying to pretend that you have either no ability to influence your community, or that all of these comments just run a wide gamut of possible.
No, because you don't want to say, I want special rules. I want special rules for Destiny, and I want special rules for Zionism.
You already have special rules for me. I don't need special rules for Destiny. I just think it's sad to watch you treat your co-hosts on your show like shit in a way that none of the other chats would tolerate.
You give a fuck. Like you give a fuck. Do you actually care?
Yeah, I think it's really sad, and it's supposed to be one of the only lib spaces on fucking Twitch or whatever. So watching your entire chat be absolute fucking demons towards these people, towards some of the only fucking good faith libs left on the fucking internet who are nice to you.
And I'm nice to them.
I think it's kind of crazy. It doesn't, no, you as an individual might be, but you as a streamer are not. You're a terrorist.
I'm a terrorist because I debate.
You probably bring, is that what I just said?
Do you think that on what other ground I'm a fucking terrorist? How am I a terrorist? Terrorists should be fucking.
Think about it.
How am I a terrorist?
Walk me through your process. When I say that, what do you think I mean? Do you think that I mean because
that's why I'm asking? I have no idea.
You have no clue whatsoever. Then that's
what do you mean? What do you mean I'm a terrorist?
If you have no clue whatsoever,
what do you mean I'm a terrorist?
You should find somebody else to do the moderation, or just say you don't care about any of it
all. What do you mean I'm a terrorist?
That's
a kind of wild accusation.
making fun of his dead sister or something else, just say, "Oh, I don't moderate my community." It's like, don't worry about it, bro. Just
wait
say
a second.
that. Be honest about it.
So you fucked up, because that's an example where immediately.
No, I don't think I fucked up. I know that every single person
that wasn't in my chat.
That wasn't in my chat.
That wasn't in my chat. That wasn't in my chat. That wasn't in my chat.
Exactly.
That wasn't in my chat.
They know exactly what you're talking about. It was one of your chatters.
It wasn't in my chat. I don't know. Like,
they were one of your chatters. It was the part of the people that you draw. That's part of being a streamer, is you draw people to the streams around you as well.
And the people you draw, of course, are all fucking angels, right? All the people you draw.
Not all of them, but I do a lot of off-platform moderation. I do a lot of enforcement against brigading and stuff like that, of course.
Okay.
Right? That's why when I asked you earlier for an example of me not doing it, you couldn't think of a single example except for a couple of common ones that you've been fed by people from Gisticle's Discord server, like Lav, and you didn't want to say Mr. Girl, but that was what you were referring to.
No. I mean, no. I don't have any specific concrete. Okay. No, it wasn't. I mean, you're ascribing that in your mind. I don't know. It's very conspiratorial. You think that, like, I'm sitting in these chats to try to fuck you over or something. And everyone's.
I don't think you're trying to fuck. I don't know if you're trying to fuck me over or not. It's just, if somebody would ask me, like, do I think Pisco is a pedophile? I don't think I would have like an indifferent answer. Like, well, I'm not really sure. I don't know. I'm pleading the fifth on that one. That's kind of a weird position to take, especially in a community that you know is hardcore anti-fanning against me or any of your co-hosts.
You are trying. What you're trying to do right now is specifically to exert control and to pressure so that I comment on your case. I don't know why you would do that.
Do you think that you venturing an opinion, when somebody asks you, do you think Destiny's a pedophile, that's pressuring you to comment on my case?
Steven, I think you know what you're doing.
Why? Now who's being chicken shit?
Okay. I'm not commenting on your case specifically. Is it my intuition that you are into prepubescent children? The answer is no to that question. But the answer is no to that question. The answer is no to that question. But Steven, I'm not trying to get close. I would rather this never come up. I don't know why it's important for you for everyone who you interact with, or I guess formally interacted with, to get like statements on the record for that. I mean, does that really make you feel better?
I'm not trying to get statements on the record. It's the people in your community are the ones that run around and try to get statements on the record from every single person about stuff related to me or other people. Or
I am not trying. You can rest assured that I'm not trying to comment on your case for.
I know that you're not. That's not what the conversation is about.
All right.
Your behavior, just the behavior that you let run in your chat.
Okay. Well, to be honest, I think that
you don't care about it, and I think you should have just said that. You should say, "I don't care if my chat is saying crazy unhinged shit about anybody else or my ghost or whatever else." You should just say that instead of doing this.
What I think is bullshit. Stop. What I think is bullshit is your unwillingness to ascribe what you think ought happen in these moderation channels, because I think it's something approaching Protect Destiny rule. It's okay to talk shit about Hasan rule. It's okay to talk shit about people I'm enemies with. I don't think you really give a fuck.
Hold on. Do you think that I would care if your chat talked shit about me?
Yes.
In what way?
In any way that's critical of your positions, any way that
really?
Is, yes.
You don't think that I see? You don't think I see a difference at all between?
No, I think you see a difference in that. Yeah. No, okay. I think you see a difference there for sure. But
has there ever been in the entire history of you knowing me going to anybody in my orbit, anybody of another streamer, and saying, "Hey, these people are being mean to me in your chat. Can you moderate that?" Have you ever heard of me doing that before?
I'm not sure that you've ever done it, but you're refusing to do it now, which is I think what you want.
Isn't it strange that you have that strong impression of me? You ever wonder where that comes from? Maybe the chat influences you a little bit more than you think it does.
No,
maybe, possibly.
My impression is that the entailment of your view, that is, everything you're suggesting, is it's a problem when communities talk shit about your drama. That's a problem.
Is that what I'm saying?
No,
is that a good?
I'm not saying that that's. I specifically said it's not what you're stating. I'm saying it's an entailment of your view, and I think one of the reasons you're uncomfortable with providing.
It's an entailment.
You want me to finish or
not? That I want you to ban people who are talking shit about me or other people. Or
yes, you want me to ban people who are negatively mentioning your drama in my chat. Just admit it.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Wait. That was a little bit closer, for sure, right? Now, you don't have to have that position, which is fine. You can have that position, but that's a more honest position to say, you want me to moderate people that are commenting about your personal life or bringing up your personal drama, right?
Correct.
That's a more accurate statement than me saying, than you saying, you want me to ban all criticism of you, right? One of those is way more specific than the other, right?
Well, no. I think what I was saying with respect to, would you be upset if people are criticizing Destiny in your chat? And the answer to that is fucking yes. I think that you would be. That's just my impression.
No, I don't think I ever have that. What if you ever watch me complaining about anything's ever? I'm sure in your mind you can think a lot of. Destiny's probably complaining that people are constantly bringing up personal stuff, baseless accusations, lawsuit-related accusations, my son, whatever else. How many times have I been like, oh God, this guy in fucking Pisco's chat says that I'm I don't even know. Says that my opinion on whatever fucking thing. I can't even think of an example because nobody in your community even criticizes my takes ever.
Wait, if they called you a genocide supporter, you wouldn't be upset if my chat was constantly calling you genocide supporter. You support Israeli war crimes. That you said that Israeli soldiers should do shit. Like, you wouldn't have a problem with that.
I think I'd be annoyed, but it'd be way different than like.
That's all I'm referencing. No, I agree. It would be different. I agree. It would be different.
But one is, it's okay. I can be annoyed at your chat. It's okay to be annoyed at people's chats. Hutch's chat says stuff that annoys me sometimes, or it could be, but there's like it's a different level, right? If I went into Hutch's stream and all of Hutch's chat is like, oh, not Destiny's, he's a fucking idiot. Fuck this guy, he's a retard. That would be a lot different than me going to Hutch's chat and all of them saying like, oh, this guy wants to rape children, right? One of these would be like annoying. It was like, okay, Jesus Christ.
I agree.
Right?
I agree. They're different, and we, excuse me, sorry, would understand them differently. 100%. I totally agree with that. But just to be clear, the reason why I'm trying to push for like different prescriptions is so that we can address what you feel the issue is. And I don't think that you feel the issue is bare accusations or mere accusations of misconduct. I don't think that you think that is generally a problem. I think it's a problem specifically perhaps with my co-host and with you.
Well, no, I'm saying my issue, first of all, this wasn't about your chat treatment towards me. My issue is that it seems like you conduct yourself in such a manner that you become a lightning rod for a whole bunch of anti-lib people that make a bunch of deranged and bordering on personal comments or past that personal comments towards people that are libs that come on your show. And that's just a very strange thing for me to see. I don't think if I walked into Hutch's chat and everybody's saying like, oh, I bet Pisco just believes this because of some girl, or I think that Pisco is, I don't even know, because it's hard for me to even imagine these types of attacks against you because people don't make them that were anywhere near the types of attacks that that your community is making towards any of these other people.
They accuse me of bad faith constantly, and you do too.
Come on, that's a totally different type of thing. Bad faith.
I mean,
I would drink children's blood. Okay, I would join Hillary Clinton and do the adrenochrome injections if I knew that the worst attacks in the Destiny's bad faith.
Wait, to the
sign
extent
me
that,
up for that one.
Wait. When they were making accusations of Hutch and like a family member, we acted quickly to resolve it. We figured out where it was. I think it was maybe even during the conversation with Lonerbox, we stopped the on-screen chat and we went to address it.
You're not understanding the question.
Then help me. Why are they there?
Does it seem? Yeah, and I know you don't want to answer that one because it would require
I thought I already did.
Introspection and some.
I answered that question.
They love discourse. They like discourse.
No, I didn't say that. I don't know if you're listening to me half the time when I'm talking.
I am. I think you gave 3 reasons. You said one is because I don't ban people who I disagree with in my chat. The second one is that I give takes sometimes that I think are contrary to your takes.
Yep.
And then you gave the H3 lawsuit as an example. And then the third one was that lefties might be drawn to your chat for.
Nice. Yeah. No, you did. I'm sorry. Yeah, you did. You did listen.
Okay. Yep. But the issue is not. The issue is just I don't understand. Maybe you just don't care. I guess I just don't understand how
about what? About all the people in the chat who are being mean and negative?
Yeah, I guess that's just a crazy. That's just a crazy thing to see, I guess, because I know that I think it would bother you if you saw Hutch's chat making that level of comments, that level of commentary about you. In conjunction
genocide
with
defender and stuff. Genocide defender, Israel shill, that kind of stuff.
Maybe, but it's hard because I don't even know what the equivalent attacks are because there's not much of a snark right or whatever. I don't even know what that would even look like because it's kind of the left and that type of community that does that uniquely. But
I've never asked. I've never. I know. I'm going to be honest. There are some critiques that you have made of me that have bothered me. There are critiques that people in your community that have bothered me, I've never once asked you to be like, hey, moderate this.
What do you mean bothered me? What do you mean by bothered me?
Like comments that annoyed me.
That's
what I mean by bothered. That rubbed me the wrong way. That made me feel bad.
Like calling you like bad faith?
Like saying that I'm only having this opinion for the purpose of ingratiating myself with an audience to try to suck up to Hasan, that these aren't my real opinions. I don't actually have those opinions, that I'm lying. These are all impugning my character.
I feel like these are not I don't know if these are common comments. I think most of us are just really fucking confused. And then some people like, I'm a Pisco hater from day one or something. I think most people are really confused. I don't know. I can go back and look at the
what are they?
And then I think
do you think I've changed? Do you think I've changed my beliefs or like changed who I am? This is who I am. I've always been combative and
incredibly obvious what somebody on your show or like what Hutch will talk about. It'll seem really obvious like what's going on, and you are like debate raping him, sometimes even in front of a guest, to where a guest gets out 5 words of a question. The Jose guy, I don't remember what the question was. You're like,
no,
right? That was an insane thing.
That was well into the
30
conversation.
30 minutes of that show, you grinded the fuck out of him, and it's like, holy shit, what is the purpose of this?
And what you're saying is that's not what I'm known for doing.
No, I guess if you have one gear all the time.
Do you think I have one gear all the time?
No, I don't think so. I think you're capable of not rolling in that gear. I think that is super possible. I think 100%. I think that's super possible to do that. But if you don't, you can also just say that. You say, no, I roll in one gear all the time.
No,
I'm probably going to attract the stream chat like that way, and then fuck it.
Maybe the answer is sometimes I get sort of prompted to be more combative in a debate, and sometimes I don't. And it's not like me deciding Machiavellianly to go after.
I don't think I've ever said Machiavellian. You're ascribing. This is how people talk about me, and I'm sure they've talked about me to you that way, and I'm sure they're telling you that I talk about you that way. It's very rare that I ascribe Machiavellianism, regardless of what you've heard.
I saw your so I'm just gonna all cards on my chest. All right. I saw your review of my discussion with Hutch, and I'm like, you can't imagine how bizarre it is for me to like. I get the message from Hutch, hey, let's talk in the morning. He even says, let's battle, I think, or something approaching that. And I'm like, I'm gonna just let him ask me anything he wants. I'm going to do my best to like just really assure him that I'm coming at this from the right perspective. And your take was, he's mind fucking Hutch. He's trying to fuck with him. This isn't even a real conversation. It's not a real debate. Like, bro,
Pisco,
you're ascribing.
Can you explain to me why at the end of that conversation you asked Hutch, you know that you're my boy, right? And Hutch couldn't even give you an absolute yes or no. Why do you think he started on that?
I think I hurt his feelings.
So then, if that's your boy, and you guys talk way more than me and you probably have ever talked, and I'm confused, why would it be crazy that I'm confused on the outside of that if Hutch is confused himself?
I think that I think sometimes I undercount and underappreciate how much being like pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed can have like an effect on people. And
yeah, but it's also
that not everyone is able to.
It's you pushing and pushing, and all of your chat is the most vitriolic, by your own words, destructively criticizing
Hutch
him.
says he doesn't really care about that. Hutch has said he doesn't care about that. Hutch has never communicated to me once that like he wants me to. I asked him before, do you want me to ban Ogre Boy? He said no. And so yeah, like
I don't think anybody would ever say yes to that though. It doesn't work that way. But I don't know how to make you understand that, I guess.
He has signaled that he's not bothered by the shit. I think that he's his feelings were hurt about how I
could be totally wrong, and I might just be in a total imaginary fucking world. Okay, I'm not actually, and I won't hedge on that. I think that if Hutch was watching a stream and you guys were having a debate, and some guy in your chat typed in some shit, another unhinged personal attack about how Hutch is simping for Diddy GG or some other weird fucking comment about Hutch and pro-genocide or something, whatever the fuck else, and you somebody like, hey, not cool, or you like timed out that person, or if he saw that, I think there'd be a little part of him would be like, oh, that's cool. Pisco cares about the image of me that's on his stream and the way that his stream is perceiving me.
Right.
You're
categorizing the nature of the comments. The nature of the comments that you're categorizing as like beyond the pale are ones that relate, I guess, to Israel or the genocide, and those that relate to like you. What other clutch of criticisms or what kinds of criticisms? That's why I'm trying to like get a rule. Like what's the rule that you think is a good rule by which to, sort of sort out the harsh and biting and vicious and even unreasonable critique from beyond the pale, inappropriate, not even worth.
It's not going to be like a hard, like you can't, I don't know if you can make a rule like that.
Like personal attacks rule?
I mean, maybe. But like if I had to bootstrap like 50 rules to chat saying like no racial slurs, no race realism, no race essentialism, no what if every day you came to show there's a new rule like that, I think people would be like, what the fuck? Why do we have 62 different rules related to how we can talk about racial essential ideas or racially essential? I think people be like, okay, this seems like a chat that is drawing these types of people. For whatever reason, they really want to have this conversation in here. And so the idea that like you need to make a new rule or ban the people doing it, like if there's like
I don't like to be ad hoc. I don't like to be ad hoc. Maybe that's like I like to have things be clear and upfront about what the conduct is. And so anything less than like
it's not about being ad hoc.
I like.
If you're asking good faith, so like here, so one thing I've noticed when I talk about conservatives is when whenever they want to talk about anything, they always bring up trans people. Okay, and I started joking about the girl cock. These guys are obsessed with girl cock, and at some point, every time conservatives
I'm missing this. Sorry, my bad.
Sure. Anytime conservatives would bring up trans people, they'd always say or anytime any political issue comes up, conservatives would talk about trans women. Always, every single time. Okay. And so I started saying, okay, it's time for girl cock. We're talking about girl cock. And then eventually got abbreviated in my chat as gawk, gawk, gawk. And it was funny. It's a good meme. But I noticed that maybe a month into this, every single time anything related to trans people came up on stream, anytime it came up, people started to spam gawk. I'm like, okay, well, hold on. This is kind of weird now. I don't think that it's an ad hoc rule to say, okay, guys, we're not doing this. I think that if I see my community portraying an image that I don't feel like accurately reflects what I feel or what I think, I would probably want to curb down on that behavior depending on how extreme the behavior is about things that I believe strongly in. So if all my chat said they really liked the movie Titanic and it was their favorite movie ever, that's not a thing I would care that much about. But if they're putting values or things out into the world that I severely disagree with, like making extreme personal attacks against friends or having extremely divergent, offensive political views, I would probably do something to guide the community. But it wouldn't be a matter of like, I'm just banning the word or I'm
you just mentioned some things there that I think could be made into rules. Like, for one, on the trans issue, like anything related to intrinsic characteristics, those kinds of attacks are unacceptable. Extreme personal attacks are not acceptable. Extreme attacks as against people's characters who are friendly with the show. Those are.
I don't even know. I don't think I have those rules in my chat. They might be. I don't think so. But I think if somebody were to come into my stream and somebody's like, "Oh, this guy's a fucking wetback" or whatever, I don't think I would need a rule against it. I think everybody in chat would look at that person and types in "feels weird, man," and then you probably get banned or something, or you'd probably just leave.
Yeah, when I say rule, I don't mean like necessarily. Though I prefer it to be written down somewhere so that so people know how to conduct themselves. Because in my opinion, everyone should get a shot. Like I think everyone should get a chance to be in compliance. And so the rule is more just like a set of guiding criteria that I can tell my mods, because oftentimes I am just like listening in the conversation, but also that I hold myself to following. And so it may be, I don't think it's unreasonable for me to be like, give me the rule, or what do you think a good rule would be? Maybe it's something like that, extreme personal attacks, or attacks, repeated attacks against stream guests or something like that. But I don't think it's too much to ask for that.
I would never ban somebody calling somebody like bad faith. I don't think I would ever ban that. But if I had a friend that was coming into my stream and every single time he came in, every single person was like, "Oh, bad faith, bad faith, bad faith," I'd be like, "Well, fuck, what's happening right now that my whole community is interpreting things like this?" I don't think I would ban the behavior. I think I would either have a discussion about it or I would do something to try to guide them in a different direction. But remember earlier you said that after your 4-hour conversation, you felt like your community had an even worse opinion of Hutch afterwards. You had a 4-hour talk about one hypothetical that you said you're not any closer to the answer.
Well, no, that's all
that
accurate.
Would do is what?
It's not accurate that the entire conversation was about that. The conversation was about like what I view my political theory as. It ventured into like personal, like.
Well, sure. Sorry, it seemed like it was inspired somewhat by that question, and by
no,
the end 100%.
Of the conversation,
we were no closer.
Well, no, but I don't think that's my fault. I don't think it's my fault I don't have clarity on that. Hutch is like...
What do you think that Lonerbox is at fault? When you guys were on that show, Lonerbox had to call out like anti-Lebanese racism in your chat related to supporting.
Is he
Israel.
at fault? No, that's unacceptable.
How does that?
People should be banned for anti-Lebanese remarks.
How does that make you feel when somebody makes that call out? Do you feel anything?
Loner box? It makes me feel sad and upset.
Just sad? That's it?
I don't know what
it
you
feels
want.
Like
it feels bad.
Words.
It feels bad. Wait, dude, come on. This is so silly. You're getting triggered over me saying sad and bad. What fucking magic words
if
do I
I
have
were
to
to
use?
bring on somebody on my stream who's black and my chat started spamming racial slurs, that would be humiliating for me. I would feel disgusted. Be like, well, hold on. This is not my community at its best. This doesn't reflect what I believe in. I don't think it reflects what, I hope not, what my community is supposed to believe in. I understand the huge gender disparity for the 90-10 male-female stuff, but that's one of the reasons why we talk about the fucking women stuff so much. I think that a lot of the ways that they treat women on or off stream or whatever, I think is not the best. And it makes me feel bad. I don't like it. I don't enjoy when my community talks about things like that. And the fact that, I don't know, if I was on a show and somebody is like calling out what are like insanely disgusting comments in my chat, I think I would be like, oh shit, like, let me get that. Like that's...
You're just taking your woke victory lap because I said bad and sad and you're like, wow, you should have elaborated more and like gone on a fucking monologue.
If that's how if that's how you feel, I mean, it was your description, but I mean, it seems like you just said you don't care much about it. So I mean,
okay.
Let me jump in real quick. Okay, so Pisco, I was like, I feel. Listen, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt because I'm argumentative too, and I'm just generally like optimistic about people, but I have definitely told you a number of times that your chat is pretty unhinged. So when I hear you say like no one said anything, I get confused by that because it's kind of like a running meme on the podcast, right?
Well, I didn't know that you wanted me to get like rid of those people.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I said ban people, but we've definitely like it's been said multiple times on the podcast.
Well, no, what I'm talking about is like that it upsets you such that you think that like action should be taken. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, like some kind of moderation. Like if you think like it's ban worthy, then that's up to you. But like some kind of moderation. So like people in my chat sometimes will, if we're debating, they'll accuse you of bad faith or whatever. But if you talk to my chat or if you ask them, they will all tell you that I almost always like when I see it like really picking up, I basically every single time will tell chat like, okay, chill. You can have disagreements with his debate. But like, don't do like the crazy ad homs, which is a little bit different than, like I'm not actively like banning people. You have to go pretty far in my chat to get a ban, but I do make an effort to like, if it's a friend of the stream, don't like start accusing this person of wanting to like murder babies or whatever. I did have to take the chat off of my screen when we do the podcast a lot of the times because I would get so distracted. Because like the things that people were saying about me in your chat was like literally like, sweeping for genocide and, the wildest straw man arguments I've ever seen in my life. And so that does get to be a little bit like, I think I just kind of got to a place where I dismissed it. I'm like, okay, I guess he's just idiosyncratic like that. Maybe he's like a maximalist free speech kind of person, but
I really am.
The idea that
people from my community know that. Now, if it bothers you, we can definitely get rid of it in the context of our podcast. 100%. Yeah. I didn't know that it bothered you.
Well, I mean, listen, we have said stuff before, Pisco.
No, it's crazy. I didn't know that it bothered you such that you think I should take action.
No, but why would we bring it up if it didn't bother me?
Well, it could be that you're commenting on it because you think it's crazy. I didn't know that you specifically wanted action. I mean, that's just, if you wanted me to clean up the chat in the context of our podcast, I'm happy to do that.
But why would I bring it up?
I have no idea. Like you're bringing it up to express your dissatisfaction with it. I don't take that to be a view that you like want me to take particular action.
Well, I'm not just making casual.
You want me to ban people?
So
you want me to ban people who do what? Who
it's
are?
Not that he wants you to ban people. It's that he wants you to want to do something.
You want me to want to ban people who do what?
Not ban people, but just like
take action against who?
It's not about that.
Who do you want me to take action against?
I don't know how to say this without sounding like super like virtue signaling, but when I see people making like extreme personal attacks. And I don't always get everything. Like I don't always see. So there could be things that go through the cracks, but my moderators know to like crack down if it reaches a certain kind of threshold. That's my instinct. It's because like we're pod pals or whatever. And so my instinct is to be like, chill, you guys just chill. And so like when I look at the Live and Learn chat and, you know, like half of the chat,
you know, I stopped it
is, like accusing me of like supporting genocide. Then it did get to a point where I was like, I'm just not even going to look at the chat. Because it was distracting. Like it was like really intense kind of accusations.
Well, listen, I didn't know that you wanted me to take that more serious.
Come on, why are you, Pisco? Why are you saying that?
You think I'm lying? You think I'm lying to you? I'm telling you the truth.
I don't know what to make of this, Pisco. Because if I tell you like, yo, your chat is wild. Like that's not just me saying like, hey, how's the weather? It's not the same kind of like conversation. It's like me. That's obviously me. Like bringing. I feel like
like the boyfriend girlfriend situation where it's like, why don't you just say what you mean? Why don't you just like, this is what I feel like. I just like, I maybe have a more I don't know what to say, idiosyncratic view of like the chat and what I allow for and what I don't. But truly, I didn't get the inclination that you wanted me to take any particular action. And even as I sit here, like it sounds like what you want me to do is tell people to calm down about you, which I do at times. And so that, and I'm just like, well, you want me to do it more frequently? Or is it me even asking, like, insulting to you? Like the fact that I'm asking it is like an anathema to you.
I mean, I'm a bit incredulous right now because, like,
about what?
It's I don't know. I can forgive like being idiosyncratic in certain ways, but if I know that it came up like multiple times. It wasn't just like once or twice. It became like a running gag, like a meme on the chat where it was like that, and then the joke was like, we all know whose chat that person came from or whatever.
Oftentimes those people weren't in my chat, but like even putting that aside, like I took that as a joke and as you guys like expressing shit. I didn't take that as you saying, fucking do something, bitch. And if that was what you were trying to communicate, I did not have that communicated to me. And I'm not lying about that. I think you're accusing me of lying. Are you?
No, I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know how to make sense of it because it's difficult for me to put myself in your shoes and have like, it's fine if people are saying like, oh, he's fucking bald or he's like fucking 40-year-old or like that stuff, the superficial stuff that I could give a fuck less. That doesn't bother me. But if I look at the chat and it says, this guy, like it's with the particular crowd that I'm thinking of, they relentlessly lie. And I think it's because a lot of them watch Hasan and he relentlessly lies. Like he has accused me as recently as just like a week and a half ago of being paid by Progressive Victory to do Israeli propaganda.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Like if I ask your chat right now, like how many people in your chat think that I was paid by PV to do Israeli propaganda?
It's not. It's
like,
definitely. I feel like
it would be like,
it's definitely not a representative sample because the views have been upped for.
All they're all juiced up because of the.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. But if it was like a regular audience, I feel like it would be like a decent chunk of them that believe that.
I'm not sure.
Which to me, that's like,
I could fucking
that stuff. I find like pretty unsettling. It is an unsettling experience on the internet to look at a chat and see like dozens of people saying that this guy was paid to do Israeli propaganda.
Listen, I had no thought about that. Like I see your chat sometimes pretty negative towards me. Maybe you're saying it's different in kind or something. And maybe I didn't perceive that difference in kind with respect to the chats. I understand that my chat is like very specifically antagonistic at times towards things that you're saying, but I truly didn't know that you wanted me to take additional action. And if
no, but you don't think that my chat goes as hard as your chat, do you? That's not what you're saying, right?
I'm not saying that. I'm not making a assessment there. I'm just saying they're both highly negative.
No, but you would acknowledge that your chat, but like you would acknowledge that your chat goes way beyond like what you see in my chat, right?
In what sense? In what like qualitative sense?
It's like the difference again. It's like the difference between like, oh, Pisco's arguing in bad faith, which is like, that's like, kind of a nasty accusation. But like compare that to, oh, well, Hutch got paid to do genocide apologia. Like these are very different scales.
I mean,
right?
I don't recall seeing that chat in my stream, but I agree that those are like different things. It's like implying that you're getting paid by the state of Israel or some shit. That's different in kind of like bad faith accusations. Maybe it's different also to like the grifting accusations, in that a grifting or audience captured accusation, which you agree you can find plenty of in the Hutch comment section, correct? That is like
that your audience captured?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people say that, yeah, but do you know what I do every time, bro? Every single time I see that, I'm like, hang on, guys. I have said this probably 24 times in my chat, some variation of this. Like, guys, I understand that there's a lot of commentary about Pisco. I have not seen any evidence that he's like in the tank for tankies or actively trying to like court Hasan's audience. Like, I push back very directly every time I see that.
Okay. I know people take it like as a joke, this Hutch my boy thing. I think that a lot of throat clearers like that, unless they're supported by actual action, like lose a lot of their effect. Maybe I should be more sort of targeted when I do throat clearers, but the intent is to suggest that I think you're operating in good faith, and that it's like not a personal thing, and that I largely, don't want them to get a wrong impression from whatever I'm about to say. But that has sort of turned into a throat clear, which is meant to like signal abuse or something, or bullying of you or some shit. So maybe, and here I'm genuinely looking to see like what, I didn't expect you to come on, to be honest, because I truly didn't think that you wanted me to do anything else, but I'm happy to workshop ideas with you about how you think I should approach it going forward. Maybe throat clears.
No, but I was hearing you say that nobody brought it up to you in the past, but that's not true.
No,
people have brought it up to you in the past. People on the podcast have brought it up to you in the past.
Do you think that when I said that, I was meaning no one has brought up my chat before? What did you think I meant by that?
Yeah.
No, but I can just tell you that's not. I can just tell you that's not what I meant. What I meant by that is,
I don't know how to make sense of that. You said, well, no one has told me that it bothered them. So I mean, I guess maybe literally that's true. I don't know if I ever literally said like, hey, that bothers me, but
you haven't.
Okay, but I mean, if I'm bringing it up in the way that I've done in the past, and it wasn't even just me, but like, if I'm bringing it up in that way, like, bro, your chat is wild. Some of the stuff they're saying about me is wild. Like, what do you think I'm saying by that? You think I'm just marveling at it like a waterfall or something?
I think that you're signaling disagreement with it. I think that you're, I don't think that you're suggesting particular course of conduct. Maybe that's stupid of me to interpret it that way, but like, I took the running gag of it to be like, this is all something we accept. If like, I'm going to be honest with you, Hutch, in organizations, I think, or in like sort of setups with different people, I think that communication, maybe we should have like meetings and shit or something, or like a monthly meeting, because I think that this is an opportunity for us to potentially like be on the same page more, because I'm telling you, I just had no impression that you wanted me to act differently with respect to my chat. You can say that's you're incredulous about that. It's just like I didn't think that, even in the last thing that you just said with Steven here, you were like, it doesn't bother me. Like, so I don't know. I really didn't have
our debates, like whatever back and forth.
You said the reply people don't bother you. That's what you said previously. And so I meant, and when you said that, I was like, oh, that makes sense.
To be clear, I meant like the personal insults, like that stuff. After 17 years of being on the internet, it's like whatever. I don't really care. Like the
help me out. What really does bother you?
The really kind of superficial kind. But like, for example, when we got into the segregationist discourse, it was like It's basically been every week since that conversation that if I open chat and look at it, and there's going to be like people in the chat that are saying like, oh, this is the guy that wants segregationists to come back into the Democratic Party. Like, like that's
the kind of thing that bothers
that's beyond
you, right?
like a superficial, that's beyond like a superficial, you know, old, bald, whatever thing. And
they're
then
interpreting
now
you in
that's
bad
just
faith.
like blatantly misinterpreting. Like even I'm looking at your chat right now.
I don't have the YouTube,
like,
oh,
you know what I mean? Like
the YouTube one, I didn't activate the because we undid it. I can't see the YouTube one. I can only see the kick. I probably should.
No, but like that some of the chat that I look at right now in that's active right now is like the same stuff that shows up on the podcast where it's like, this is the same guy that actively wants to court segregationists. And it's like, I don't know.
I'm trying to ascertain what things bother you, Hutch. I really am just trying to know what bothers you that
I'm trying to explain it to you though.
Oh, okay.
But I'm trying to explain it to you though, right? Like, if you call me bald, I don't give a fuck. If you say, you know, I'm older, weird looking, I don't give a fuck. If you say that I actively want to court segregationists into the Democratic Party, like that is so beyond
that bothers you.
Any kind of superficial insult that I'm talking about. And I don't know if it's because these people are just fully deranged. There's some internet communities that are kind of centered around like a cult of personality, or like there's anti-fandoms. And so they just jump to these like wild conclusions. I don't know if they actually believe these things or if they're just trying to like discredit me by repeating these insane accusations. But it's like that stuff that I think that takes it to like a new kind of level that goes beyond.
I'm bothered when people like in your chat say that I'm grifting for tankies. And I would like you to delete all those comments.
Wait, but Pisco,
I'll delete all the comments about that you're referencing.
No, but Pisco, every time I see those kinds of comments, every single time, I say to my chat, guys, I do not think he's courting tankies. Like, ask any regular in my chat.
Okay, when I see those comments, I have said before that I think it's a mischaracterization of your view that you want to invite Epstein people or segregationists into the party. But when I see it, I will go out and say that that's not true because I don't believe it, and I agree with that. I will make that commitment to you.
Okay, that would be great. That would be great.
No, this is what I think is great about reaching out, because I truly, I'm going to be honest, like I did not know that those kinds of comments bothered you, and it seems like they more relate to misinterpreting your arguments and sort of bad faith interpretations that seem malicious. That's the kind of stuff that bothers you, right?
It's the wild like straw man, basically. Wild accusations. Hutch literally thinks that Epstein would be like a good president, or Hutch literally wants to like actively court segregationists into the party. That stuff is a part of like a larger coordinated effort by the people that I spar with. Like, you're aware that these communities and these creators just actively lie, right? Like you're aware of that, right?
Which communities? The Hasan communities? They lie, yeah.
All that. I mean, like Hasan, but like it's so much bigger than Hasan. It's like Mike, like all of that, like extended universe. Like, you're aware that they knowingly, blatantly lie like regularly, right?
I'm aware of many lies.
No, that's not what I asked you though. But like those communities,
the regularity of it isn't something that I have a strong view on. I know Hasan has lied multiple times. I don't watch enough of these people's content to say it in those terms. I know that they lie a lot.
Okay. It is a lot. It is a lot. And it's a deliberate strategy. If they feel vulnerable in any kind of way, they don't really like to engage in the substance of whatever critique is going on at the time. And one of the ways that they avoid engaging in the substance is to just try to discredit people by just blatantly lying about them. So accusing chorus people of being paid to do genocide apologia, the way that whole crowd does with like Brian and chorus and all them, and or accusing people that did work with PV of being paid to do Israeli propaganda, which in the case of PV is particularly insane because one of the last canvassing events that they did when I was still working with them was for fucking Jamal Bowman. So it's not even just that they lie, it's that they like blatantly lie about the dumbest things, and they know they're doing it, and the whole reason they do it is because they want to just they want to discredit you so they don't have to actually engage in what you're saying. This is like a endemic to that whole fucking scene, that whole like toxic sludge. Yeah. And so when I see like some of the stuff that I see in your chat sometimes, it's like I feel like there's probably a lot of overlap with those communities. It's because they're saying the same things that show up in my mentions when people like Mike and Hasan bring up like a tweet of mine and like blatantly brigade and accuse me of doing things that I obviously never did.
Sorry, I'm moderating my community. Not bad. No, I listen. I don't like those communities. I don't know. Like, I agree. I don't like those communities. What do you want me to say?
Okay. Yeah. I'm just explaining. It's the same rhetoric. Like the rhetoric that looks like that. You know, like if one of those creators pulls up a tweet of mine, it's like, this is the same guy that said he, like segregationists should come back to the Democratic Party. And then they pulled it like a tweet up on their screen. And the whole point is like, they're obviously using
on their streams. Yeah, I don't do that. And I don't like that they do that to you. I don't know what you want me to say.
No, I know you don't. No, I know you don't do that. I'm saying it's the ones that mirror those tactics and that rhetoric. Those are
I find the ones that mirror the tactics and rhetoric of these communities that hate you.
Yeah. Like the blatant bad faith interpretations of things that I say, or like blatant straw man. Yeah, that stuff is crazy to me.
Okay. Well, listen, I have to go. I have heard what you said, Hutch. And frankly, I hear you, and I'm open to trying to address it for the sake of, making it more palatable.
Well, listen, I would have probably preferred to do this privately. The only reason
can I ask why you didn't?
Well, because in the first instance, it was because you guys were having this really long conversation about why I said the things that I said, and it was getting frustrating. Like somebody messaged me to tell me that you guys were talking, and then the second time was because I kept hearing you say that no one had told you that the chat stuff like had bothered them, or no one had like brought it up to you before. I don't know exactly what you said.
I mean, I didn't get the impression that you guys wanted me to take particular action, or that you guys were being bothered by chatters, except to the extent that we've had a couple incidents where it's been like horrible and then we've addressed them. But yeah, I guess I don't know why. Did you feel that it would be best to have this conversation in public?
Well, I mean, you were having the conversation in public, right?
Well, I was having a conversation in public about whether or not I was good faith in interpreting, your statements, whether or not I felt that my moderation was good based on my view of what y'all were sort of feeling about the chats. And I didn't know that you wanted me to take particular action. I'm not saying that it's like totally improper to be public, but I am just wondering the thought process there.
Well, you were having a conversation publicly, and I felt like some of the things that you were saying were not quite representative of
your feelings,
my experience. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Well, listen, I'm totally willing to address the concerns. Let's chat more about them. And yeah, no, I'm not unreasonable, man. Like, I don't want you to feel horrible about how the chat is doing. I don't want to get people like to or encourage or implicitly stay silent when there are people coming after you who like have a vendetta. I wouldn't ever want to do that. You feel do you feel I want to encourage people to hurt you and hate you?
No, I don't.
You feel
I don't think that about you. No, I don't. In fact, I told you the last time we spoke. I think the way that I rationalize in my head is honestly with you, Pisco. I just chalk it up to you being a bit idiosyncratic in this kind of way.
That's how I've always been, man. I mean, ask people back in the day from the early days of my Discord and my chat. I'm hands off. I'm very hands off. Always have been. It's not a directed or particular thing. I promise you that, but I obviously, care about how it's affecting the live and learn cinematic universe, and so I have no problem, engaging with you to talk about potential changes and how I can address going forward so that you feel heard, you feel seen, and that people feel that they know where I stand.
I feel like this was a productive conversation.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing from you is, no, I'm joking. I'm doing therapy speak. Yeah, no. All right. Well, listen, enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Hey, appreciate you. Hey, are you